I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. I wake up and get it. Wake up and hustle and get it. So fuck who don't get it. I don't need no help. Don't need nobody, just me and myself. Got that fire in me, that hustle. Yeah. Tell them hoes their presidents make better friends. And I'm too sick, no medicine. I'm straight menacing. Show them the light like Edison. On this mic, I'm better than rappers' heads I'm severing. On this MDM production, send them to heaven and I dust them. Like old books, go look at my catalog, thinking I can rap it all. That's bullshit. I'm a rapaholic. If I'm giving you a feature, then that's a solid. You should be honored, pussy. And I go ass K, got a flow that's Kane. And it will leave your whole ass slain. You better believe I'm Dose with Kane. Just give me a beat so I get low, cause bang. This is why I never stop. Just on to the next. If they come for my spot, then it's off with their necks. Fuck how big your ice is, who the nicest? Who cut heads off like ISIS? Opposite of classy, nasty. Your bitch asked me 1,000 levels under me, you never gonna pass me. I pray my homies keep it real, never gas me. I tell my fam take a backseat. I'ma take us where we need to be. Cause even the old heads is feeling me. They feeling me. Cause I'm a real MC. Motherfuck free time, no rest, I'ma be fine. Success, I'ma be line. And if I fail, I'ma keep trying. Yeah. Don't tell me to stop, I react very hostile. Rap my religion and I'm an apostle, like Matthew was to Jesus. Rappers, I rip them up and vacuum up the pieces. You ain't worth shit, your mother should've scrapped you as a fetus. Bitch, I hustle, I wake up and I'm right to it. Pull up a beat and I write to it. You type stupid on the internet, talking about what you wanna do, we're gonna do. Pussy, I do it. Life is too shit to make nice to music. I don't care if you take a liking to it. My dick, I'll invite you to it. This music, how I really feel. And this beat so hype, I gotta fight you to it. This beat covered in lighter fluid.
Right,
I'ma put
ladies
a
and
light
gentlemen, R&D.
I don't give a fuck, I feel.
Today we got some fun topics for you guys. We'll start it off with a little teaser, but before we get into that, as always, I'm the R, the Royce of the R&D. To my side, Anne Marie, Iron Chef Canada. She's gonna take over the world. All right, sure. So yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just keep that in our back pocket. You know, we've been playing Squid Game, so we got to have that little outlet for us. Okay, so I do want to start off by saying, if you haven't watched Squid Game, go watch it or check out our last episode. It's all right. It's a good show. If you don't want
to watch it and want to know what it's about, please watch that too.
I was telling Anne-Marie the other day that I actually asked my daughter about it because I wanted to see what her kid's saying about the show. First off, they shouldn't be watching the damn show, but she knew about it, and I was like, what did your friends tell you about it? Like, oh, they just told me like what games they played and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. And then she started to say, I saw a little bit. I'm like, you saw a little bit? Excuse me? She's like, well, no, I just like a little bit of it. Whatever.
This episode is not that bad, though.
It's really not. It's really not. And like, if I were to compare it to the stuff that I was watching when I was younger than her, and I mean, I sheltered the shit out of her. So if anything, you deserve to watch a show like that if you want to, I guess. So what do we got today? We got our opening topic, red flags. What are your red flags in a partner? This was sparked from, we saw a post on Twitter that said
big
podcast.
Twitter trend that I think is still going. I don't know if it's died down yet, but there's a lot of red flag tweets that some make sense. Others, people are just reading or sharing it for the meme.
I think a lot of people share it for the meme just to kind of be part of the process or part of the group as the hype's going up. You know what I mean? Because like if someone posts a meme 2 months about Squid Game, it's gonna be like, all right, well you're about 2 months late, man. We all watched that, and you're behind. But this all sparked from.
But Squid Game memes will forever be okay.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Understand what memes are if they don't know the story, so they're missing out for red flags. I feel like that's always a thing.
I'll even throw one more out there for everyone. I watched this old movie called Old Boy right before I watched Squid Game. Throughout the whole time, I like the music, the way things are happening, like the craziness and everything. Old Boy is basically Squid Game on another level. It's so much deeper of a story for me.
Have you yet to watch that to understand?
We'll watch it one day. We'll watch it. We'll set it up. It's a great show. It's a great movie. But
show or movie?
It's a movie. It's an old movie. It actually took us a bit to find it because like no streaming platforms had it, nothing. But we found it. But
that old of a classic.
Well, the thing is, it's an old movie. It holds its weight, especially if you watch Squid Game right after. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's not filmed horribly or anything. It's just a crazy type of movie. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but check it out. We'll watch it soon. But this whole red flag thing sparked off of, was it Twitter post that we saw? It said podcasts that use controversy and clickbaits to get listens. First off, let me tell you right now, everyone does that, not just podcasters. The news does it. I mean, your friends do it. Yeah, everything. Okay, so I just want to touch base on that because we are going to get into kind of a big thing that's going on right now, and it is with a big influencer, a big streamer, and I mean, this is not exactly clout chasing or whatever, but we are utilizing it just like she would if we were in the news about something, she would speak on it. So we're just talking about it, giving our opinions. But before we get into that, Emery, give me one red flag in a partner that you know of. Too clingy,
they're disrespectful to their family.
I was just gonna say to your parents.
I'll just say family in general. It could be like a sibling. It can be the parents. Could be like an auntie that I barely even know but knows me for some reason. Knows about this person. They don't know how to respect their family. How much more if it's my friends? Mm-hmm. Even I'll even switch that. If they're disrespectful and they don't like my friends, that will send some kind of alert to me that like,
yeah,
people that have known me way before I knew you. So
definitely.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like in my head. I'm just hearing the siren sound. It's like, alert, alert, beware.
That's actually one of mine too, a whole family thing, because if you can't, for me, it's I'm big on, like, I'm not prissy, I'm not a prep kid or anything like that. However, I was raised in I went to a private Catholic school. I was raised to have a certain level of etiquette, especially coming from Hawaii, moving to Arizona. I had to up my game when I moved to Arizona to basically, Americanize myself and my vernacular and my vocabulary so other people could understand me. However, I will say that there's sometimes people are wrong. They'll tell you something and like they know you for a long time, but they're so wrong. And like I think that's come up to me one time where I really wanted to take what they had to. They're like, no, don't do it. It's not a good idea. I'm like,
is it a friend or a family member?
This is a friend of mine. So I was like, I want to believe you. I want to trust you and all stuff like that. And, there was nothing to like say no. It was just I had an inkling feeling that I was like, I should do it this way. I feel like this is the right way to do it. I was right. They were wrong. It wasn't like a make or break thing. However, you do kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt as you get it, because you can't exactly just go off of, oh, I knew this guy for 10 years, or this is my uncle that's been in my life the whole time. They might give you the wrong answer. It's the real world. You're not always going to get the right answer. Maybe the wrong answer is the right answer for you to get. So it's all different things. But let me see. What would be another red flag, or other than that for me? I think wasting money.
You consider red flags, I feel like.
I think wasting money, like money mistakes. I don't want to call it mistakes. It's like they're
calling me out, boys.
Hey, man, you got enough merch, right? Jesus.
Myself out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the amount of money she spends on boba and merch is ridiculous.
Hey, I've been fine as of lately.
You see my face? Or just like,
Now you're putting the blame back on.
Oh, my bad. To the chat, I see y'all. Jesus, Alberto, Holly Ann. For y'all that don't know, Alberto's going to be joining us for our next big topic here in a few minutes. We'll basically have him give his take on it because he has a little bit of a bias side to it. And we want that side from it. That way we can kind of, also give our biased opinions. We're reading stuff off the internet, so this is how we're getting our information. Me and Anne-Marie did delve a little bit deeper last night into the whole controversy, so we can kind of have our details and our facts correct, and kind of have a gist of everything that's going on in the background, rather than just saying
surface information.
Surface information.
Try to trust an expert that I want to say knows more of it, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Leanne has a red flag, not owning up to flaws or mistakes.
Yo, Holly-Ann calling me out now. God damn, I'm just kidding. That's a big thing.
Royce drinks too much Red Bull and Fireball.
Oh, matter of fact, let's take a break. Let's do this for Holly-Ann because she's in the house. Jesus, I see you too. I see you too. Look, we celebrate for all reasons, ladies and gentlemen. Future sponsor, Fireball, #Fireball, R&D podcast. I like this shit. I don't know. It's good.
I mean, how many fireballs does Royce need to consume for that to happen? See.
I don't know. Honestly. So check this out. I know I'm going off the tangent already. I went to go get my Fireball from the store, okay? There was one door held open by like one of the caution wet floor signs, right? And there was another one on the inside of it, like pushed to the left. I'm guessing like to hold the door open that way. So I walked through that door because it's being held open. I get my Red Bull, I wait in line. The cashier, this cashier's a British chick that like I go to all the time. So she like knows my thing. It's like Red Bull, Fireball, give it. She walks past me and she's like, "Did you just walk through that door?" I'm like, "Yeah, what?" Like, "Can you not read the sign?" And it said like, don't come through this door, or don't leave this door open, or something like that. And she thought I opened the door. I was like, no, it wasn't me. It was open. She's like, I'm gonna check the cameras. I'm like, damn, I feel like you're making me feel like an animal, like a thief right now. Before I even did it, I didn't even buy my Fireball yet. But of course,
that I get a red flag, because red flags don't just have to be in relationships. It could just be in anyone in general.
Ooh, that's a good point for people that actually like speak to someone in a way that you're actually not on that same level with them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's smart.
It's like he's accusing you without knowing you properly, and it's like, what is she trying to get? Or like, accusing me of doing something bad? Did I do something wrong? That could be a red flag where it's like she's already putting that assumption in your mind.
Okay, I got a good one.
I'm gonna relate it. I'm not sure how, but
for me,
this makes sense.
For me, I got a good one. For me, I'm gonna get hate. I'm gonna get flack. Women that can't drive. And we already kind of spoke on this previously, where it was like, I told about me driving the car, whatever, like wherever we're going or whatever. I just can't. I'll be honest. This is probably a me thing. I am so picky when it comes to girls driving. Like I will.
How do you drive? Let's start with that. What's your driving style compared to other people?
My driving style is I'm the badass on the road. Get the fuck out of my way.
Red flag. If I speed on the freeway,
I absolutely do not. I'm an Uber driver. I follow the speed limit sometimes, most of the time, whenever it allows. Moving on. But actually,
I was like the one that Holly Ann said, like for flaws and mistakes, like flaw that, or I guess mistake that can come up is like, let's say, I talked to a friend about this earlier today when we thought about this topic. A mistake could be that a friend goes like another area, basically, or another town to go visit someone. They already made plans. The person's on their way. They're close to their house already.
Mm-hmm.
The person that's there, like the person they're coming to meet, says like, "Oh, actually, I don't want to go out anymore. Can we just stay?" And it's like, I came all this way.
Yep.
Come and hang out with you.
Yep.
You're butt out of the house. That could be a red flag where it's like, couldn't have told me something before, or like couldn't have like rescheduled it or anything. Why did you wait until now?
There's also,
you don't want to do anything. Get out.
There's also
we're going out. We're doing something.
There's also the opposite of that, where like people get impatient, and you're like, say for instance, you're on your way, and like, you know, say you're 10, 15 minutes late or whatever, and they're like, by the time you get there, they're gone. Like their patience is not there at all. That's a big pet peeve of mine, because for me, and this is strictly just for me because I've tried to work on this as much as possible. I knew when I was a kid, I was impatient as a little rascal. Okay, like I couldn't sit still. There's no doubt about it. But
it's me now sometimes.
Well, the thing is, throughout the years and over time in certain situations, like for instance, if I'm waiting in line or something like that, like sometimes people get mad just because like someone's taking long or whatever. I give almost no fucks. And you know what I mean? Take your time, whatever. You want to go ahead in front of me. I ain't got no rush, you know what I mean? Like, so there's absolutely ways to mitigate your, I'll say, lack of you know, able to wait for something or able to not get upset about something, because that can usually those situations turn into a big clusterfuck just because someone's upset about that moment in time. Like for instance, H2, a good friend of ours, came down to Arizona for a wedding. We went golfing, and there was things that happened. Okay, so this is why Mr. Just in Case over here was always prepared. I got there in time because he called me and said, "Hey, we're going to be running a little bit late. We're picking some people up from the airport," and I didn't know this, but the freeway next to the airport was actually like closed off or something, like super bad traffic. So I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll go there, reserve the spot, make sure, you know, we have our spot for that," because it was supposed to be like a bachelor party thing. And I think he took like 25 minutes, and like every 10 minutes he was like messaging me like, hey man, go buy yourself a beer. I feel bad. I'm like, dude, just chill. I'm here. I'm waiting. Like, I'm waiting to see people, your friends. And then his friends came in and I met up with them and it was fine. We just waited, you know, like for me, it was like, I'm fine. Just wait. You know what I mean? Like I can handle it with patience for however long it needs to be. And especially in that situation, it was like, I'm here for a reason because we're about to have fun. And it's like, if I can get here on time, reserve this spot so that someone else doesn't take it, we're going to have our fun. And we sure as hell had our fun.
So see, stuff like that, it's like, at first it could be a red flag where it's like, oh, like, does this person not want to hang out with me? Did I do something wrong? Or like, on your end, it's like, am I here too early? Like, you're going to think like something bad happened. What would like the alternative be? Are they okay? It's like, red flags are a warning sign, just like with anything, but most of the time there is a way to reverse it to turn it into a green flag instead. Like, how can we resolve or try to change the situation? Or it'll just forever stay a red flag and you need to move as far as possible or move on from that person.
Yeah.
Red means stop. Red means alert.
Real quick, I want to touch base on a comment we just got from Jamie. Jamie says, hey, I'm not sticking around this week, but just wanted to pop in, ask for positive wishes since my mental state is a darker than dark type of a dark place. Hey, we love you. You may be in a dark place right now. Go eat some food. Go relax. Go get comfy. Go do whatever you need to do to be happy and comfortable. And if you're in a dark place, turn a light on. I got you. I got all these lights over here. You need me to send you one? I got you. But we absolutely wish you the best, Jamie. Thank you for always coming in and stopping in and saying hello.
You sending all our love.
Absolutely. All the aloha.
We'll actually go into a little bit on like health and well-being a little bit, but Jamie, go do what you need to do, girl. We love you. Sending the best to support you.
Absolutely.
You be your best you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Do you have? Can you think of any other red flags? I mean, there's definitely a lot of red flags, but not really any that I've encountered personally. A lot of it has been very minimal stuff that like I was young at the time, so if I was maybe a little bit older, I wouldn't have gotten upset about it or you know whatever.
I think we can go on and on about different red flags, but I'm going to do a little something a bit later that could be considered as red flags or turn-off. So if you have any other red flag things to bring up, DM them to us, tag them in them on anywhere, and we can talk about it more. But I think the funny one that like brought it up for us is the one that Royce mentioned where podcasts that use controversy for clickbaits and listens. Hey, I mean, we want to get more listeners. We want to build this community. So anything that gets us that, sure, it's not harming anyone. It's not doing anything bad. So is it a red flag? Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
Moving on.
All right. My bad. The cameras are messed up because I pulled Berto in the channel. But we're setting up for the next topic. Actually, I have the research that we did on this one, but why don't you open it up or why don't you start it off as I fix these cameras for us?
I'll actually do a little intro for Berto. If you guys haven't watched Berto on R&D before, he's a dear friend of ours. He has his own podcast, which I'll let him talk about a little later that we go into this topic. But the reason why we brought Berto in for this is because we're going to talk about controversy behind Reflect Beauty, which is founded by the popular and famous Twitch streamer, and she goes by Valkyrae. Her name is Ray. I don't know. We'll get Berto's thoughts and story behind that because he is her number one fan. Ray, if you're watching this, please hit up our man Berto. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, we'll get more into that. It's a small little summary if you don't know what on earth we're talking about, even though Berta will give us more in-depth detail. She released a skincare line very recently. It's supposed to have claims of protecting your skin against the blue light rays or like effects from blue light.
Yeah, the negative effects from blue light
is. It happens when you're exposed to like electronics, so like computer screens, TV screens, your phone screen, as well. I only know that much, and I think with everyone being at home also due to pandemic and quarantine, blue light, from what I know, is maybe effective for your eyes. Like right now, usually I would be wearing my glasses because it has like that blue light glare or protection on there, but I'm not wearing it today because I'm being a stubborn person, and
Okay.
I am.
I'm gonna cut in real quick. She's lying. She's a rebel. She basically was at work with her
It
knives,
is
and
still
someone told her.
cheating, okay?
Someone told her
Effects
that
of blue light
put the
which we'll
glasses
go
on. She was like,
into- effects of blue light, which we'll go into. I will learn, and we'll probably have to run and get my glasses because I'll feel bad after we have this discussion.
absolutely.
Jeez, Royce, let me have this one time to rebel a little bit.
Look, you want to
Tiny little
rebel?
bit.
I fully support you, okay? In any rebellion you want to do, I fully support. I think everyone that watches the show fully supports your rebellious nature, if I can say
I don't
so
know what that
myself.
would be, I'll be
But,
honest.
ladies and gentlemen,
Most of the
let's
time
bring
I'm
in-
not wearing my glasses to protect against blue light.
Hey, man, it works sometimes, all right? For some instances it does, but let's get into that. Berto, how are you doing, my man?
No, Berto.
I am good.
All right.
Turn on my camera.
Yeah,
You're
flip that
good.
sucker on and I'll pop your camera on. We got a nice little card on screen for you. But why don't you give us, because you actually gave me the idea of doing this because okay. All right, let's break into the story here. Royce broke his phone, and Roberto was like, "You should try these." Also, speaking of phones, you should take a look at this. And I didn't even know about it. So when he linked it, I was like, "Oh, that's a new thing for me. I have no idea." So I checked it out. Berto, give me a summary of what you know about it, because I know you're one of Rachel's big fans, right? Rachel, if you're
I don't know
watching,
anything about
Berto,
it
big
until
fan.
Berto. Anything about Valkyrie is because of Berto.
Yeah.
Totally.
So anything about Gina Darling, Berto's the expert.
Gina.
Yes or no?
Ray knows
Okay,
more
so
than me and Royce.
the beauty care line that she dropped, she's been working on it for about 2 years, give or take. And at first, she called herself the co-owner,
Saw that.
when she's actually, what was she? She's basically,
Creative consultant.
yes, that. And so when it dropped, at first people were like, okay, yay, proud of her.
Mhm.
Like, you go queen.
Yeah, do it.
Then once it was out for, let's say, at least 2 hours, then the floodgates of cancel culture opened.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, "This is a scam." It's not, but it actually is. People are calling it snake oil.
As far as I'm concerned, snake oil is Fireball, and Fireball works.
And how? Everything she does.
Look, we getting that sponsor one day. Let me tell you, we may not be in Canada, but we out here. We out here, baby.
This has
So,
nothing to do with Canada. I'm from Canada. I only knew about Fireball whiskey because of Fireball Man Royce. So it has nothing to do with Canada. But continue, Berto, please.
Yeah. So yeah. So after the hate started, then everyone was starting to think that Ray is doing this for money, to like money grab from her fans, which I'm not saying that's the stupidest take, but what I'm saying is that's a stupid take.
It's a really stupid take. Let me touch base on this real quick, because she said one thing in her response to it, said, if I wanted to do this just to make money, I would have done another merch drop. Because the last merch drop she did, it was basically, from what I understand, it was big bucks in 1 week. And that was it.
Oh, yeah.
Done deal.
1.4 million in a week of
Yeah.
publishing.
Yeah. So it's like, if you like, she's not, her and her manager aren't dumb in the ways of making money. I don't believe it. There's no way. I don't believe it. So to think that she did this for her own like monetary gain, I don't believe it. It just, nothing lines up to reach that.
Like, there's a better chance that McDonald's doing their meal thing with BTS is a money grab.
That's true. But I think my main thing with this, like, just hearing about it at first, the whole marketing scheme behind it is that it's targeted for blue light protection. Blue light, like I kind of briefly said before, most people know it as like harmful like exposure that it does to your eyes from electronic screens, right? So to apply that to skincare, I was a little skeptical because I didn't know too much, but also A is an amazing girl, and I'm pretty sure she was there to look at all the research and back it up, but just make that claim and not have the proper scientific thing behind it or even advertise it in that way seems like she got herself in a lot of different complications where it's like, what's the truth or what's the proven facts behind it?
Yeah, and
wait, let me ask you, Berto, before you continue. How do you feel about it all so far? Like, what's your, I don't want to say a stance on it, but what's your take on it? I don't want to say what side you sit on, but what do you take?
So I think from everything that I've seen, I went on her Boulder streams.
Yeah.
When she laid it all out, talked about it. I think the company that, I guess, backed her and helped her make her line, I'm not saying they're shady, but I think there's a small chance they scammed her.
So I'm glad you said that, because me and Anne-Marie, when we were digging into this, I think that was basically the ultimate agreement, was that she basically got scammed. And from what I was telling Anne-Marie was that, imagine if you're Valkyrie, you find out about a product or something like blue light therapy that you're like, hey, that seems really interesting. I stay in front of the screen all day. Maybe I want to take a little bit more look into that. So she got kind of like a bug for it, just kind of like fitness. The problem with it is that these people reached out to her, and I honestly think this was the plan from the start from them, that they knew that they were going to use her for her clout. Like, this to me is the perfect example of clout chasing. And this is under the instances of a business to a individual, entertainment person. So it's like, if you're Valkyrie and you have these ideas and stuff like that, and someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I like your ideas, let's go further with this. Of course you would want to, you know what I mean? Of course you would think that it's something that's a little bit more legitimate, or, you know what I mean? I don't think her getting into this situation is difficult to understand. I think for me, it's the how long it went in the in-between process, because I believe at some point I would have been like, yeah, because that's what I'm saying. At some point I would have been like, hey, what's going on here? What's up?
And she's at the point now where, like, first of all, she's in a contract. And depending on when that contract is null and void, Ray said it herself that, like, she doesn't know if she still wants to be a part of this, because the hate, backlash, it seeped over to her friends. And I just have to say this. Hate is bad when you're a celebrity, when it's on your own subreddit. Yeah.
And another big problem with being as big of an influence with her, it doesn't. I don't know. I think she was too big for that company to do what they needed to do. I think that company was trying to like slide under the radar, and unfortunately, you're looking at streamer of the year from last year. Like you didn't pick one that was going to go unnoticed or just be able to fly over your head. You picked the one that everyone's going to be like, "What you got? Let me see. Let me try it out. Let me test it out. This and that." You know. But as far as what you know of it, Berto, what kind of is it a makeup line? Is it a cosmetic line, or is it like what exactly is it?
So it's like a skincare line tailored to gamers, streamers, or just anyone who's behind the screen.
Okay.
For most of their days.
So it is mainly like a target audience of people that are gamers.
You could just be a work at home business person who's
that's
behind the screen.
Another thing. It's like it's such a specific niche that you can say that to anyone that's still working from home right now, but I think again that's such a specific thing that it's not creating a broad enough audience that people want to buy it. I think looking into the website also, like I kind of made a few notes where like I think it's a cleanser, moisturizer, eye patch treatment, eye cream, and lip balm. I would say like 2 out of 3 of those make sense for something to protect against blue light, because from what I did my own research being a little bit of a skincare junkie myself, where blue light can kind of replicate or is similar to what we would use sunscreen for, which is for UV protection. Right? I think for something like a moisturizer, eye treatment, or eye cream makes sense because again, it kind of goes more towards like eyes are more exposed because they're so much more delicate. Your skin can adapt to different things, and skincare is so personal. For me, I have eczema. I don't know when I'm gonna have a flare up. I have dry, sensitive skin. Like
girl, same.
Monday,
I love that eczema.
I could be all over with like rashes or whatever, or it's dry and flaky. For something like this, where it's like cleanser first of all, that's not protecting anything. That's to get rid of all the gunk and dirt that's on your skin from the day or like at night when you wake up.
Yeah.
Moisturizer, yes. Lip balm, If it's for blue light, doesn't make sense. For UV protection like the sun, yes, because you get dark spots. And everything else, like, it's okay, but I'm hopeful that this could become something, but I think the big mistake for her and for her team was releasing an entire collection versus what I've seen from other influencers or just other brands is release one product at a time. See what people say, what the feedback is, and then if that doesn't work out, then cancel everything else. You don't have to continue. But the fact that it all came out at once, I'm like, you invested money in the packaging, the formulation, and everything, and it's like, all this backlash is coming. Get rid of that. And with her contract too, it's like you can't get out of that because money was invested and the product already exists in stores and online.
Yeah, I agree. So we were talking about that. So, but from what I'm hearing is that Anne-Marie, you wouldn't have bought it based off what you saw right off the bat.
Roberto said in some ways that like it was more for people that are always sitting at home and they're exposed to a screen. Well, I have my phone. I'm always exposed to that, but am I a gamer? Am I always working from home? Not necessarily. So if that's the demographic they're trying to reach, it's very selective if it was outside of pandemic times.
So before I ask Berto this question, I want to say it, and this is going to be my own opinion because I'm going to say it and it's going to be blunt. If anyone doesn't believe anything about blue light therapy or how blue light either can help or harm a human body, think that blue light, you're just immune to it, you're dumb. Go look at one research, just one, and you'll find out if it's harmful or helpful in those instances and blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm going to roll into. Alberto, I know you actually have a pair of blue light glasses, right? You used those for the last couple of months. How have you noticed a difference in those as far as using them in front of the computer?
Yeah, like let's say I stream, and streaming without those, it's like streaming with shampoo in your eyes.
Yep.
Oh.
So this is what I'll say to that, to make it, to kind of explain it in my terms. It's a strain of the eye. It makes it feel like there's sweat in your eyes, kind of thing. And you know what I mean? It's that kind of mentality, or not mentality, effect of it.
Has that effect? Because I'm thinking of it also, it's like when it's allergy season, like you get like the pollen and dust, and like you want to scratch your eyes, but sometimes when allergy season comes, it feels like you want to physically scratch your eyeball, not just around your eye or your cornea, your actual eyeball.
I feel like I've gotten allergies over these past 2 years. I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like I've gotten them. It's horrible. Horrible. But back to Alberto's thing about the blue light glasses. I've worn glasses my whole life. I've had multiple sets of glasses that incorporate the blue light option, and 1,000% did they help me in the terms of me like not having to strain or feel like my eyes are strained so much or anything like that. So for me and for Berto, absolutely, you can tell a difference. You know what I mean? It takes time for you to understand like what that was doing to your eyes in the first place, and now what it feels like with having like blue light, corrected glasses on. It does make a difference. The problem with this issue is that blue light research and data has been done decades and decades ago, multiple decades ago, for eyesight. It hasn't been completely done for skin, the effects of skin that it has to the skin and everything. As far as things that have been publicized out in the public. For me, I was able to look up stuff about blue light glasses, be like, okay, it does this, it gives you less strain on the eye, blood flow, blah, blah, blah. And for this skincare thing, it's more like people are looking in almost unpublished journals. It's basically like the pathway that you take to have it published in a journal, in a scientific journal about this, but they're looking at it as like, okay, this study said it's harmful. Blue light therapy is blue light is harmful. Another one said blue light is helpful. They're probably both correct, in my opinion. They're probably both correct because there are instances. For instance, me and Anne-Marie were researching yesterday.
But on the website specifically, and what I got, just like hearing about the controversy, a lot of people were saying that she saw the research, but because of an NDA, she's not allowed to say what the research is, nor are they allowed to release it. Going on Reflect's website, if you go on resources, there's a few medical journals or articles that were published, and from what I got from that, it says for like the three of them, or the main one that's on there, it says long-term effects of repeated blue light exposure is not fully understood.
Yeah.
For something for it to affect your skin, and in some cases for people that go for anti-aging treatments as well, they actually use LED lights to help with things like dark spots, hyperpigmentation, or hormonal or cystic acne sometimes. Blue light, in a way, not something that you fully want to be protective of if there's so many benefits to using blue light in small increments. With the skincare line that she has, somehow the chemical that they use in that will help treat and hydrate your skin, so they claim, but also protect it from the harmful effects, which, again, there's no exact research to back that up.
Let's not say no. Let's say there's minimal.
One was from 2021. The other journal article was from 2018. None of it was directly from the supposed scientific team that was behind creating this thing.
That was the big thing about it, because I remember I pointed out to Amber when we were going through these research papers that in the middle of one paragraph, in the beginning of one paragraph, that was literally right smack dab in the center of the page, it said blue to violet light and wavelengths of like 375 to 495 nanometers. Is used in blue light therapy for this, and this, and is helpful in dermatology, blah, blah, blah. You know, it just continues. That it would make sense. And that makes sense to me because I can correlate that into, say, for instance, I have long hair. I'm part of some hair groups. My hair's on some websites and some shit. I personally know that if you have difficulty with some kind of hair growth or some kind of hair problems as you're starting to age, red light therapy for the head is absolutely something that is beneficial for blood flow, for circulation, for just a whole immense amount of things. So for anyone to like just cut off and say like blue light therapy is bad or is bullshit or whatever, is like, Okay, because there's not a lot of info right now doesn't mean it's bullshit. It means there's not a lot of info out right now. You know what I mean? You can't make that decision. You're not a scientist. You're not doing the tests yourself. You can't just like say something and believe it. You know what I mean? Because what that's doing is basically what that company did to Ray. It said, just put it out there. Say that blue light therapy is dangerous and then we'll believe you. No, there has to be more of a universal belief or universal understanding that blue light is harmful in this manner, at least a knowledgeable way to do that. But for Berto, how do you feel about the blue light therapy, or at least the controversy on the effect of it on skin?
Do you know much about it? Or I guess even going back to like you investing in getting blue light glasses because you're a streamer just like Ray. Like, do you see or understand like where the effects could be on skin, or do you mainly see it for like blue light glasses helps protect my eyes from the strain of the light from electronics or whatever?
I can see the effect that it has on the eyes firsthand. And in terms of the skin, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I'm not saying it can, since I'm still new to the whole skin part.
I get that. I definitely get that. You don't want to say too much about it because it's like, just like I'm saying, you're not the scientist, whatever, but you can just go off of your experiences, you know? So, like I said, I'm sure there are a whole bunch of color therapies that help with certain instances and maybe hurt with some instances, but I don't think that the lack of overall knowledge of it people should be able to say, Ray, you're full of shit. This was a scam. You tried to scam us, blah, 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 blah. Because, like, the more you look into it, it's almost the quintessential, this girl got scammed kind of thing. And she really this hurts her far more than it does to that company at all. I'll be honest. Yeah. People probably don't even give a fuck about the company.
That, technically, if you look at the list of co-founders, her name is at the very top because this was her idea. And also looking at it, it's like, just looking at the other people that worked on her team, like one of them, not going to name names, you can find it on Reflect's website. One of them, she used to be the team or the board of directors for Laura Mercier, which for my girls that love wearing makeup and go to Sephora, Laura Mercier is a very expensive makeup. We're talking about skincare here, so I don't know too much about the skincare line about Laura Mercier, but makeup is makeup, skincare is skincare. Yes, it's all part of the beauty industry, but two very different and distinct formulations and separate industries within one. Plus, Avon CEO, beauty influencer, entrepreneur, and then the other CEO or co-founder is a creative media entrepreneur and producer. So main thing is they're entrepreneurs that are trying to make something work that they know that can sell just by using someone's name or influence.
Yeah.
So they got very involved with.
And I want to touch on the website and I guess the lack of info on there. So
real quick, from what I'm understanding, that it's been a series of changes since the very first day, am I right? Like at first it was like didn't have nothing, and then I feel like it was because Ray was like, hey, where's your research? Where's the shit you sent me? So they put out a little bit, or, linked WebMD or whatever. And now by the time me and Anne-Marie looked at it, there was a couple journals that were like we said, it was, pretty dated as far as like last year, 2018 and stuff like that. But go on.
So like Anne said, she signed an NDA in her contract, but also according to the people at Reflect, they can't release their studies, their research, or else other companies are going to just yoink it and use it as their own. And I'm trying to see it from a business standpoint, but at the same time, there's just that voice in the back of my head that's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the best you got?
I get that. That does make sense.
I look into other skincare lines. Like, I just basically typed in blue light skincare. There are other, like, high-end brands that they make very small claims, or they just mention that, oh, this can also protect against the effects of blue light. But the main thing that they're trying to get with certain products that have similar formulation, the main claim that they have for those things is that it's anti-aging. It helps protect against UV rays, which is most known in sunscreen. There's this one girl that I know who has started her own skincare brand like years ago, and she already has her own issues because of the claims that she put that it's a UV sunscreen and it protects against like however many percentage or number that they put on sunscreen. So in a way, like my thought process is that she could have gone the route of like having some kind of just moisturizer or even sunscreen, a tinted BB cream, something like that. But if comparing to what's already out on the market from a business standpoint, like how you said, Berto, there are other things, but to fully claim that, oh, this is to protect against blue light effects or whatever, that's very niche that, yes, not on the market right now, but maybe there's a reason why it's not for being the forefront of what your brand is representing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not, should not be the main thing for your skincare line.
I agree. Well, the thing is, I was also telling Anne-Marie yesterday, if it was, and this is from what I'm getting from like the whole theme of it, if it's supposed to be like a gamer product that's really your market, I think
just work from home people too.
Well, I know, but because they use gamer, every time you use gamer, it always is going to attract the gamers. You know what I mean? Because we're gamers. But I feel like if you would have, just like you said, if you would have came out with a tinted BB cream with good SPF and then the added benefit, like we talked about, the added benefit of blue light helping with the skin, I feel like I might even try that. You know, if it was hyped up enough. Like, I feel like that's close enough to me to be like, okay, I can believe that, because what you're doing is you're not marketing towards just blue light helping the skin. You give me the whole shebang plus the added benefit of the blue light. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was a jump off point that you could have used as an additional rather than a singular kind of thing. For Berta, what exactly. Like if she started out with something like that, would you be interested in something like that?
Berta, would you use something like that knowing what the effects are of blue light as much as you know, or like just as a streamer, would you use it because it's supporting a fellow streamer, or like what would your take be on if you were to purchase it now?
If it was like Roy said, even a tinted BB cream.
And just a moisturizer too, I feel like.
Yeah, even if it just like moisturizes my skin or makes it feel smooth or clean, I'm good with that. If it doesn't do the blue light stuff, as long as it makes me feel good and look nice, I don't care.
And I could actually, now that you say that, I can get for guys that are gamers that would never touch the stuff, that hear about that kind of stuff, where it's like she came out with a tinted BB cream that helps with this and that, and a lot of gamers are using it right now, not to look pretty, but to, you know, just protect their skin. But I can absolutely see that as like I don't want to say like a bandwagon type thing, but it's definitely a thing that like, hey, I want to check it out, see what that's all about. You know, like that's scintillating to me to be able to see like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's see where this goes, and if it doesn't protect from blue light all that much, or I really can't tell, like Burrow says, if it makes my skin smooth, make me feel good, and I feel hydrated, moisturized, and there it is. You know what I mean? You get the outcome that you really wanted. It's just you don't, you know what I mean? You make more of a distinct decision on the whole blue light thing, or maybe even not. Maybe be like, I can tell it's not a big deal, but everything else that's in this product, you know, it makes sense to me and it feels good to me, so I'm gonna go with that until I hear or see otherwise.
I think again, like just saying something like skincare, it's so personal because everyone's skin is different and could react differently also to any kind of product. One thing I like that they claimed was like, oh, there's the added benefits of like helping with hydration or like with stress or fatigue skin. That helps a lot, and that's more of an effect that, okay, that's more believable to me. You can see signs of stress from your skin of like dry patches or like fine lines, whatever. That makes more sense to put that as your forefront health claim.
Yeah.
But everything else I feel like could be better improved.
Berto, from your standpoint, because you're a fan, what is a better way that you think that she could have, or what do you think she could have done better, or in a different way that would have made this situation a little bit easier for her?
And I'm saying this not as criticism, but just like a
consumer opinion kind of thing.
Yeah, like in the 2-year span that she's been working on it, like I'm more than positive she saw the research they did. She saw everything. But I feel like since she's kind of new to the whole skincare world, maybe have someone who's not in the, if she was able to, have someone who's not in the Reflect team, someone who's like a veteran in the skincare world, kind of like, I don't want to say like peer review.
They're kind of oversee.
Yeah, like have someone there who's been in this for, let's say, 5+ years, knows what's good, what could potentially harm, let's say, sensitive skin. Just like know the ins and outs.
Yep.
And also maybe a good lawyer.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I said this to Anne-Marie yesterday. I'm calling out her manager. Whether before and despite any of the facts that she saw research, did this or that, whatever, as her manager, you should have absolutely been looking into the future of that business, that she's putting her money and her name and your business now on the line. As a manager, you didn't see all the steps. You didn't take the necessary precautions and do kind of like the safety measures to protect your client in that instance. You know, I feel like she kind of was unfortunately naive in the situation. She was excited. She had a bug and she was like, I want to go with it. And someone gave her the opportunity. But like, I still do feel like this whole Reflect thing was a scam on their part to her. You know, it kind of doesn't diminish their brand because no one really knew who they were in the beginning. But Ray, it's like,
even for other influencers, like any kind of drop like this, they'll usually like peer packages to a lot of like the top tier people that are in the beauty or makeup world. And I think with the controversy of it just launching now, and once they send those up, people will already have a bad first impression on it. Still try it, but that's in the back of their mind that like, I have to give my full and honest review, knowing that there's already so much backlash on this product.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
The hard one to go through. I'm kind of waiting to see what my own favorite skincare and beauty influencers say on it. I think for Ray, I know she wants to get out, but I think taking all of this feedback now will help her that if she wants to add more additions or even change the formulation too within like a few months or so, she can. Because if there is that scientific research, totally fine if they don't want to disclose it. At least make a bit more of a claim than saying like, oh, this is the chemical that they use. Like this is
more of an emphasis on it.
Journals like not approved by the people who actually made it, and also who are the people that make it. It shows the name of the labs, but I couldn't find anything on it. I don't know if they're even an actual like for the like team.
That was one of the things. That was one of the things that got me, because I know she said she didn't go to the labs or anything. She just got the reports and stuff. And I feel like that was a naive decision to do that. Because it's like, for instance, if I gave you and Alberto a report of a research data about how Fireball is the cure for coronavirus, you have no one to go off of to basically say, is this right? Is this wrong? You know what I mean? Like, if she was to go to the lab, that's kind of a definite, okay, things are happening. You are researching this. You're not just giving me a paper of numbers and chemicals, you know, because you could have totally just made that up and what's in this product isn't actually what you told me, you know? So, and like that goes back again. It's like it falls kind of none on Reflect, but it falls hugely on Ray. But as everything's going on, Berto, do you feel any different kind of mentality towards Rachel or anything like that?
No, like, I think this is when I'm glad my empath side kicked in, because at first when hate started to go, I thought, like, 2021, give me a break.
Dios mío.
And then I saw her tweets, her stream, and I thought, she got the short end of the stick here.
Totally. And
the shortest end.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I don't want to say just because you're a big streamer, you don't deserve to get fucked over or whatever, but at the very least, as a big streamer, she should have had more options or more things available to her to where she could have been like, no, hold on. I need this from you, or I need this from you before I move forward, because I am a big streamer. Thousands of people watch me every single day, so I like how you put that in respect, because for me, I was kind of watching it a little closely. I know there wasn't a lot of info put out. It was basically just other people's commentary about it prior to her, her response for it. But I watched the whole response thing right as it came out, and I was like, damn, you make me feel different now, because I thought maybe it was just you, like, oh, yeah, just handle this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to, just, like, not really having a part in it. No, you actually tried to have a part in it, but they literally just gave you the bare minimum, and there was no way for you to know to verify anything. And, you wanted to do it, so it fell in line with what was going, and you just were the wrong person that they picked.
Yep. And what sucks, too, is, for those of you who don't know, she's a co-owner of a big gaming company called 100 Thieves.
Oh.
In her Twitter bio, before all this happened, she said co-owner of 100 Thieves in there. When all this broke out, during her first stream where she laid it all out, people were bringing up the fact that she took 100 Thieves out of her Twitter. So what does the internet do? They start to speculate and make rumors. They're saying she got kicked out of a 100 Thieves, this and that. No, she took it out because this doesn't have anything to do with 100 Thieves and all her friends and team there. Mm-hmm. This is solely Ray.
And I feel like that's because she's an important figure to people. I feel like that's actually a very responsible side to take on that.
Yeah, it's like if Anne-Marie got into some mess, I'm 1,000% sure she would take R&D out of her stuff, because whatever she's...
Watch what you say. Watch what you say, please.
I was going to say, whatever she does, that doesn't reflect R&D.
It's true.
That's true.
The thing is, I know that she got a lot of flack for it because she took that 100 Thieves things off. But even for me, I was like, I definitely because I knew her affiliation with 100 Thieves. I was like, what do you mean? What do you think she left? How? It's gonna be that's gonna be a big contract, because you're gonna have to sift through and see where I'm able to do what and whatever. I was like, no, yeah. I don't believe that.
Yeah, and plus I kind of respect her taking it out, because it saves 100 Thieves so much heat. Especially because they have gaming teams who are in esports and big gaming stuff.
100 Thieves, shout out. I'm a killer at Apex. The dog's name's Champion. Let me know. Okay, so let's do this final thoughts on this. Let's start with Anne-Marie. What do you think about the controversy in general, and what do you think could have been done better, or what do you think should be done to not fix but ease the drama about everything?
I feel that the way that it came out, way that it was presented, everything, she said as much as she could and was allowed to, but also her branding team as well for all of this, and her fellow co-founders as well, could have helped her out a little bit more, because it seemed like they put all the pressure on her to be the face and voice of everything, when you're going to put a scientific claim such as blue light protection, at least show the facts and scientific proof behind it and not just quote an article or journal. I can do that. We've done that for school, and it's like, that's just passing it. Actually show proof, like other brands. Take example, Neutrogena. Actually show like the little like formulation and like what stuff is in it. If they did something like that, I think it would convince people a bit more, but also so little information about blue light still other than for eyesight. So could have been done was do one product at a time and then fully launch the line. But for how she's going to resolve it now, I think having better branding for it or better awareness on why solely wanted to focus on blue light other than like she wanted to learn more about it because she's a gamer.
Hey, shout outs to Dwayne Henry, Big D's in the chat. Should have just cut out the blue light thing and they would have been fine. I agree with you there. I think it could have gone either cut out the blue light, like I guess the emphasis on blue light. You could have still had the product in there or the chemical, whatever, to help with blue light therapy, but don't emphasize it if you're not able to publicize the research for it. Because that's like I said, that's like saying Fireball, coronavirus cure, but you don't know. Just trust me, you know. So I definitely agree with that. Dwayne also says, "F that, I will burn with Royce and Anne Marie. Burn them down with the fireball." All right, Berto, give me your final thoughts on it. What do you think could be done in the future, and what's your stance on this overall so far?
I think Reflect should, even if you don't want to release everything word for word, at least show some of your research. Because, like Ann said, just quoting an article, that's like doing the bare minimum on your essay.
Putting citations and you don't put your bibliography afterwards, like,
yeah,
you cheating? You plagiarized? What is this? That's what I'm getting. I agree with you, Virgo.
Yeah, and in terms of my overall thought, I seriously think that either she got scammed or I don't believe the second one, but I think we meant well. They're kind of new to the whole beauty world. Like I said before, they should have had a veteran, an OG in the beauty world to kind of like steer them away from the highway to hell.
Yeah. I mean, that goes with so many different businesses, you know what I mean? Like going into something, say for instance, I don't want to harp too much on this, but say for instance, I go to buy a car. What I would tell someone that's going to like say buy a used car, bring your mechanic with you. Why? Because they know more than you. They're the expert on the car. You know what I mean? You can't just make the decision on it or go off of what the salesman says. You have to have that research, and you being able to know the research is being looked at, the research is agreed upon, and you know, it's like I feel like she really wanted that research to be put out there. You know, like I really believe that was her big push on it, and that was her intent for it. But like how everyone was saying is like they didn't put anything out there. That's where she's up against the wall in my eyes. That's where she's like, I'm in a contract. I remember when I'm watching her response to it, like someone said, "Are you locked in a contract or what's going on?" And she legitimately was like, "I am locked in a contract," and like said it in a way that I was like, you need to say no more. I got you. You're locked in a contract. You can't do shit. Like that's what you're telling me right now. And I would believe it. Why would a company put you in that situation and then give you the leeway to kind of back out or kind of dismantle their own business? You know what I mean? So those kind of signs, those are my, back to the first question, those are my red flags in that situation where my best interest as a streamer, as a creative consultant or whatever I was, co-founder, that wasn't actually taken into account for real. It was more of like a facade that you painted for me. And I was so excited for it. I said, okay, gimme, you know?
Yeah. And like Roy said, the whole say no more, I'm sure you saw this voice, but even her friend hopped on a call on Discord on stream and said, "Look, girl, you're over, like you're in your head. You're talking out of emotions. Just get off stream, chill, play with your dog, and just let this all ride out.
That's true. I believe it. I guess we'll do my final thoughts on it, and we'll send Berto on his way so he doesn't have to stay with us too long. My final thoughts on it is that I believe she got scammed. I believe all the red flags were there to be seen. However, she was naive and excited, and it's not her fault to be naive in a situation where she has no knowledge of it. The only way to not be naive is to do your research and get more knowledgeable about it. What I think can be done in the future, either, and this is the real critical part, the research that company did needs to be put out, not research from Harvard Med 3 years ago or the Journal of Scientific Australia or whatever the hell it may be. It needs to be what you put out, because I'm gonna call bullshit on the whole other companies can take this and that, because just like I was telling Anne-Marie, if I bought her product right now, I can take that product to a lab, find out 100% the exact chemical composition of everything in it. There's you cannot hide anything that's in your product. You can't just be like, oh, our research is whatever. Okay, well then that's what you're left with. You're left with now, unfortunately, a dwindling product line that was not just one product, 2, 3. It was like 5, 6 products that could have been a big boost or could have been a big success, but is actually dwindling now because you just don't want to put your research out, which gives me the red flag saying you didn't fucking do your research in the first place. You might have just sent Ray bullshit numbers and bullshit chemicals and whatever, like how is she to know that everything that's in that product is exactly what you sent to her? Like, no fucking clue, really. She's just really hoping for the best.
Her advocating for that, or being
absolutely,
the voice,
absolutely.
Scientists, please stand up and say something for her. Don't just give her a script. You formulated it.
Yep.
Can turn it over to you and be the voice and market it, but formulation isn't by her. It's by you. You're using her name.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to touch base on this is that because we're talking about what can be done, and like we're talking about what she can do or what they put out, whatever. The founder, because they allowed her to put co-founder on the thing. The actual founder and co-founders, they need to step the fuck into the light and take responsibility for what it is, because it's easy to let Ray say, I can't say anything, I don't know, I can't show you anything. But as the company, what's your response? Because your response is technically an article from a journal on your website that you're just like week by week, a couple days by a couple days, you're adding something into, but it still wasn't your research. It wasn't your info. It wasn't anything that you came up with, and if that kind of info is just like being thrown in the air saying that we should believe it just because, that gives me no hope to believe in it. You need to give me more. Give me something that will make me want to believe in it. And with the fact that you had Valkyrie backing the product, you could have done so. You just, I feel like if they really wanted this product to go well, it could have. I just don't see what was the purpose of, we can't let our research out. We can't look, I don't care what lab, what company.
Like, at least say something so people know what the formula is. Because
totally.
I guess, in addition to my final thought, there's always going to be one person that creates some kind of formulation, and most skincare products, they use other formulations from different people as a base, but they go often like make their own adjustments and changes based on what it is. Like a moisturizer, basic composition of it, they add whatever benefits to it, slap a label, this is what it is, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even relate it on my end where it's like a recipe. Look at a recipe for any kind of dish and claim it as your own if you change at least 5 different ingredients on it and make it your own.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's actually...
So that someone's copying it, everyone's using some kind of similar base formulation, but the chemicals or whatever you add to it, that's what makes it your own.
I think that's a good standard, because I think even with logos and stuff like that, that's the lawyer response. You have to change 5 things about that logo so that you are safe and in terms of getting sued or something like that. And I think to 5, whether big or small things, whatever, I think that is a possibility, and that is an avenue that they have accessible to them. Absolutely. It's just kind of up to, and I want to put this back on the Reflect company. It's up to that company to put out the information and the materials necessary for this product to be successful, because I do believe that it can be successful. It just needs to not be promoted in a way that this blue light thing is the big thing for it. I really do believe that it could be like this is an all around product with the added benefit of protecting your skin, the harmful effects of blue light and on electronics and computer screens. It's not a far-fetched idea. I know a lot of people are like, oh, blue light, blah blah blah. We even looked up, it's like, if blue light, one of the papers that I saw, it said blue light, the equivalent of staring in front of a screen for 7 days straight, is the equivalent of 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight. Okay. You want to make it seem as minuscule as possible, so it's like it looks like it's nothing, but you're literally telling me that it is affecting. It might not be up to as much as the sun. Well, granted, because it's the fucking sun, but you're telling me that there is something here, so that's enough for me to be like, okay, well, let's take a look into it. Let's figure it out. But that was a big drama-filled thing that I definitely don't think she deserved to have on her. However, I think the naivety of her in that process was kind of her own downfall for it.
The baby in that industry and people representing her aren't doing her justice.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Berto, before we send you off, do you have anything you would like to plug for everyone watching?
Follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BearBrillGaming. I stream multiple games, and God help me, next month I'm going to be starting a scary game, so if you want to see me scream to the gods, come join.
I feel you. There's definitely been some Halloween games that's been coming out that I tried, like the first 5 minutes of it, got scared and was like, okay, this is going to have to be a stream game because if I'm going to jump from this, people need to see it. This is good content. But yeah, super appreciate you coming on, Berto, because me and Amber, don't watch Ray as much as you do, and I know you had a little bit of backstory and history with it, so thank you for joining us today, my man. Hope you have a wonderful day. Before you
Berto's podcast. Berto, anything about your podcast you want to share?
Yeah, the podcast is Chilling with Belle. I have multiple episodes with Anne and Royce. If you want true crime stories, music, random bullshit.
Crazy stories.
My favorite is the Colby Cannibal.
It's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Y'all should check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Berto. We're gonna send you off here. You have a wonderful night. Anne-Marie, can you link his stuff in the chat real quick so people know where to go? All right, later, brother.
See you.
But yeah, that was a good that was a good talk about everything because we got kind of everyone's side on it. I think at the end of that conversation, we are all kind of agreeing that she got screwed, and it really wasn't her fault. For the backlash, at least. I don't know. It's really hard to say what could have been done prior to, or a little bit differently prior to, because she kind of wanted to do it, and that's not a bad thing to want to do in her line. It's a makeup thing, and she wanted to try something out. She probably saw some information about blue light that was like, okay, this makes sense that this doesn't, that might be a little bit damaging or something or other. And I feel like she should have had the opportunity to at least dive a little bit more deeper into it before everyone was like, okay, this is not your role. Don't come here, because that didn't make sense.
I mean, there's so much that could have been improved, and they basically put her in the dark and threw out to the dogs.
For sure.
Like, oh, this is what I'm releasing. This is what came up from it, the idea and everything. This is what it is, and yeah, that's all I can say because I'm binded by a contract and NDA.
That's what I was saying. Is like when
they wanted to be successful, minus her popularity, should have set her up for success and not for possible failure, which is where it's heading now.
One thing we didn't touch base on is that she was. Well, we kind of touched base on it. One thing that she said in her response was a lot of nothing about the product, and not saying she didn't say anything about the product. There was definitely she definitely talked about the product, but a big emphasis was put on I would say her friends and their reactions and how they reacted to that. Because I know she was like, dude, very few people reached out to me, and one person called me, and like that meant a whole lot to me because no one reached out to me. And to think you're #1 streamer of the year, and you can't even get like someone to talk to in these kind of moments. Like I can only feel like you feel like you're locked in that room right now in front of your stream camera where that's all you can do. It's like that's disappointing because it's like you're supposed to be all your fans to back you, but so quickly so many people were like, looking for someone to blame. And I was like, of all people, that's like why would you pick her to scan, like to utilize the scan? Like I get it, she's big, but you could have picked anyone else, or I don't know. They shouldn't have picked anyone else. They should have picked nobody, and they should have just put the product out themselves. But it is what it is.
Yeah. There could be a lot that could be improved, but also it's like, someone in the beauty community, please help her out. Y'all love drama.
Sure.
Help this girl out of her drama that
Absolutely.
she didn't really cause on herself.
I know that there's beauty gurus.
Send her a line.
I know that there's beauty gurus that'll co-op a video with her and be like, hey, look, this is what you should know. Let me teach you through this video, and that way you have more information by the end of our conversation that you can walk into, or any conversation with the Reflect Line people or whatsoever, and have something to say. But like, rather than just saying, I'm really disappointed that you guys, I didn't know that your research wasn't going to be put out, or vice versa, and all that kind of crap, But I can definitely understand how she has a little bit of gripe on her friends for not reaching out and strictly because this is where we have no say in it. They're also other big streamers. A lack of response in a way is them trying to protect themselves, and you can't fault someone for trying to protect themselves if what you wanted from them is them to protect you. You can't be greedy in that instance. If they have a concern, you have to also respect their concern and so forth. So I think it's because all her friends, or all the ones she's like talking about, are big streamers or are famous or have a good big following. There's a reason why not a lot of people reached out, or at least publicly reached out and stuff like that. So it is what it is, but I would also say it's disappointing that people don't stand up for you in the time, because that's what I would say. I was like, I would love my best friend to stand up for me, right? If whether I know about something or not, I would stand up for me if you feel like that's the wrong situation, and that's that. What do we have up next, Anne-Marie?
Okay, to lighten things up a little bit and kind of going on we're on the topic sort of on health and taking care of ourselves with something like skincare. We're gonna go into a little thing that I guess on my end I've been working on a lot, which I'm gonna let you ask me the questions for this because I'll go into it a bit more, okay. But it's something that I try to update regularly in the next few months, but it's something that I honestly never thought I would enjoy until I started it.
Hey. All right. So my question to you is, and this is totally my question, I'm going to take all the credit for it. How important is your health and fitness to you?
Very important, because on both sides of my family, and this has a lot to do with how I want to be more proactive with how I'm taking care of my body, my health, and well-being, where both sides of my family are predisposed to either hypertension, type 2 diabetes, asthma, and allergies that come and go, but mainly hypertension and type 2 diabetes, which is prevalent in a lot of, I'm going to be very specific and say Filipino families, because the diet and how people live there, some people are doing well, some people are not. I would like to say I'm eating pretty balanced, but I know I could be healthier. But even with eating healthy, it's like you're fueling yourself, but you're not using all the energy that you're storing. So where is it all going, or what is it being used for?
Yeah.
So as of exactly almost a month ago, because of my sister's encouragement, she likes exercising, and we've been trying to stay active because of quarantine, trying to get out of the house. Doing homework workouts helped. Biking, like jogging or going for walks every now and then when it's nice out has helped. I think for both of us, it helped to actually physically go to a gym when it was safe for both of us to go. Gym when things reopened, sign up for a gym membership. And I think going through the tour, I was enticed to possibly try personal training. Did like the starter sessions, and I got very lucky by chance that the trainer I have very quickly became friends, and he approached training for me or just like personal fitness in a way that made sense to me because it was someone that's relatable but also encouraged me in my very stubborn ways that I'm able to do this. I just need that little bit of a kick in the butt, the rear end, to motivate myself to do exercise that I wouldn't normally be used to. And I'm doing this just for me, but also to encourage other people in my family or anyone that knows me for not being the most athletic to do something about it now while I have the energy and the power to do so.
Yeah.
A little pricey, but I'm like, I don't mind because I'm investing in myself and in my future.
Yeah, you're totally right. And what I was telling Anne-Marie in the beginning is that just keep doing it over. And the more you do it, the easier it starts to become, because the first couple of days it's hell. Ow, my head, ow, my legs, ow. You know what I mean?
Exactly
I get it. And I super applaud you for keeping at it, because every time I feel like I ask you about it, you're more and more excited about it, or you're giving me info. You're like, oh yeah, I did this. I tried to do this. Leg press. I started with this and all that. And it's like that's very encouraging, because
me not knowing anything about gym equipment. I know how they work somewhat, but it's like, I don't know if my form is right. Am I doing this correctly? Am I going too high of a weight all at once? Like me, I am a child that's in kindergarten and I want to play with every single toy, but don't know where to start with.
Well, that's why it shows a little bit of your dedication and thinking about all those things. Because if you didn't care, you would just be like, all right, just work out, whatever. But you thinking about that leads you to other outcomes where it's like you were telling me you were doing the bar push with the shoulder press and your hands were slipping. So the option was get a pair of gloves, and there's always ways to mitigate.
I didn't understand the point of getting gloves until a session last week. I'm going to put a full disclaimer right now that I get very warm. I like to be warm, so my hands get very clammy easily. When you're lifting the equipment, normally it's made of like metal or like steel, whatever the thing is. And that gets onto the clamminess or the sweat on my hands. Most likely something's going to slip. So my trainer recommended me to get gloves. I took it very seriously, where it's like, I don't want to spend too much, but I needed to cover the parts where I don't get calluses, which I still kind of do underneath my fingers, but it gives me the right amount of grip so that I can still do the workout, but I'm not injuring myself on accident if I can prevent that.
So as far as altogether, how long have you been doing it?
Month.
1 month? Okay, so.
Exactly a month, starting Saturday, but let's just say today, because I was at the gym today and I sort of got the progress numbers from my trainer, and like he would tell me when he's like, oh, you only started from this weight last week and now you're at this weight. I'm like,
yeah,
a bad thing? Is it like, am I progressing too much? Is that bad? And it's like, no, I don't know why you're so scared. Like, this is good, this is progress, and like you should want to aim a lot higher instead of like staying at the same weight that you've been doing, which some things I have been, because my upper body is very weak. I have stronger legs and lower body, so it makes sense that works out easier for me.
Yeah, I definitely know that your weights are going up pretty quickly, though, because I know you're bragging about that, which is good, because it means you got the fitness bug. That's a good thing. Whenever you start working out, you want to get that fitness bug, that healthy bug, kind of lead you into all the directions where getting your end result will make it a little bit easier. But as far as from the beginning when you started, I know you just said it was a month, but from the beginning to now, how do you feel you've changed, or how do you feel like you've felt like you've changed? I'm going to put up a picture of Anne-Marie in the beginning, and I'm going to show you what she's at now, okay? I know it's only a month, but
it's very small. But when I tell you the numbers afterwards, it's pretty big. So this is me.
Tell me about the detail.
Day one of just starting my sessions. I haven't fully gone out and met my trainer yet, which I was terrified. I looked at everyone else that like doing personal training sessions. I'm like, the chances I get someone where like I don't connect with them well, I might not actually continue after the first third sessions. Like, I'm gonna make the best of it as I can, and if I don't like it, I don't have to continue. I want to meeting my trainer. First thing he asked me, a bunch of like relatable questions. We bonded over podcasts that we like watching. He recommended a book to me. I talked about this podcast also, which if you're watching or listening right now, we're gonna talk about this later. But also, you know everything.
But also, make her do squats some more. I actually really want to meet this guy. I'll be honest. If you are watching right now, I want to meet you. I want to fly up there. I want to work out with you. And we're gonna be doing. You know what? You heard of 75 hard. We're gonna be doing 175 hard. Okay, I'm Hawaiian. We're gonna be out here today, baby. I'm just kidding.
I think just like getting along with him and like seeing that more of like a friend is helping me out, but they're more of an expert in certain things. Yeah, really helped me to want to do more. So that's day one when I started doing training, and I think the exercises I'm remembering and I actually like doing for something like leg press. At first I started at about 65 as of this morning, before like we're gonna switch up my workout according to the plan he has for me. Started off with 65 pounds on a leg press. Today I did 210.
Oh, McBuffin's in the house over here. Check him out. Look, that's
for something like deadlift bar, which I was like, that's very heavy. I'm scared of that. I went from just lifting the bar on its own, which I think is around like 5-10 pounds, something like that.
15.
Oh, okay. Wow. Then yeah, that's
there you go. See,
then with what I did today, as of a month, which is like this morning when I went for my session, I have since added 20 pounds on either side.
And that's good.
So
that's really good.
I can't math properly.
I wanna cut back real quick to how you're talking about how it feels like you're working out with a friend. Because one of the first jobs I had right out of high school was personal trainer. I can't stress how helpful or how much more comfortable it is with that kind of feeling like your friend's working out with you, or it can feel more like it's like an older sibling or someone watching just to kind of keep you on your toes, teach you things that you don't know. However, being able to mesh with a trainer well, and you want to continue that, is very, I don't want to say rare, but it's more difficult to find than you think.
I still say that like I got very lucky first off. Like, I thought this dude was a lot older and would be somewhat scary, but then when I met him, like, okay, this dude's chill. And by the end of it, it's like I have a new podcast to listen to, plus a book and other things that like we talk and we joke around, but like we still get work done and like I'm still progressing as much as I can.
Absolutely,
it's good.
Proud of you.
Like, the numbers I'm seeing, I'm like, how did we get here again? And it's only
that's why you see it yourself, and it's not like someone else is putting in the work. So it's like you can take pride off that little number going up. Yes. I mean, I'll be honest, not even a little number. You went from 65 to 200. That's a big jump. You know what I mean? That's a huge thing, and stay on it. It's gonna get easier and easier. However, I mean, you pretty much got everything going for you. I think you got the mindset, and we were talking about what all comes with it. It's like that drive to want to be more healthy, thinking about other things like throughout the day. Like, for instance, I know you used to go biking a lot. You know what I mean? Now, when you go biking, it's gonna be a whole different kind of ride, because you're gonna be thinking, oh, I'm activating my quads, my glutes, I'm doing this. Maybe I can go a little bit longer. You know what I mean? That definitely is gonna reflect into other activities, and I don't want to say lead you into a more healthy lifestyle, but probably lead you into an easier way or easier path to where your goal of a healthy lifestyle is more readily achievable.
Exactly. Certain things I know I can progress well in. Some parts, like upper body, is a lot slower than others. Like for a shoulder press, it's a work in progress because I have like this weird painful spot in between my shoulder blades. So like, can do it. It's a certain number of reps per set, but it's like I'm still trying to actively push myself to where I'm comfortable. And if I don't want to do, I'm like, dude, I can't. Can we stop? I need to take a break. It helps, and yeah, I know you're listening. I know for sure you're listening, dude. Thank you for helping me, and you're stuck with me for another few months. So yeah, there's that. Got a long way to go because I guess I'll share it on our Instagram page. Which, if you're not following, this is gonna be exclusive just on Instagram. So you better go follow. Where just for my own curiosity and I guess kind of playing around in between sets for my workout today, I tried to attempt a pull-up. A chin-up.
Oh, I saw it. I was so proud of you.
I tried to do a bit of a pull-up. It was more of a pull than the up. In all honesty.
Hold.
It was an attempt, is what it was. So, hopefully, I can work towards actually like pulling myself up. Not so much because like the one where like there's 3 sets of bars where like you can grip onto it in different ways and like it'll extend from different parts of your muscles as well. So I was on like the inner one where it's like more closer so I can try to pull myself up. We went like this and I'm like, I'm gonna just dangle here because nope, I can't do it. Okay, try one more time. Like, nope, I'm getting down. I'm getting down.
The second attempt, that's what I love because it was like, oh, I can do it. Okay, let me try again. Oh, I can't do it. Dude, you tried. Fucking try. That's such a big
it's
part
fun,
of it.
But I'll let you know the closer I am to building up my upper body, which is my main focus, and if I can get there. I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Maybe in the 1 month-ish mark. But that picture that you see at the bottom was me last week because like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit more stronger today. Let me like
Miss Universe 2022 coming at you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is that what they call them? Miss Fitness?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
No, I'm the wrong person to ask that. Yeah.
Let me touch.
A month, so I will let you know what happens.
Let me touch base on this real quick because this is something I want to kind of continue on for further podcasts. Like she says, it's been 1 month. We're going to check in on her another month from now and kind of basically keep this update, keep people, all the listeners updated and kind of research. This is research in action, development in progress. You know, it's what it's all about. But I'll kind of harp on it. Health and fitness is super important to everyone's lifestyle, whether you have an active lifestyle or not. The health part is being able to take in enough nutrition that your body needs, sleep. A lot of people think that like when you're working out, you're building muscles in the gym. You're wrong. It's when you sleep, and everything you do outside of the gym is super important. I always say working out is 10 to 15% of the whole shebang, and your diet and nutrition and your sleep, and those make up the rest of that percentage. And it is that important because if you like you were saying in the beginning, it felt this way, but the more you did it, it's the repetition of doing things, eating certain things, like saying low protein or no carb or whatever your goal may be. Doing that on a consistent basis for at least 2 weeks, you'll absolutely see your body change, or your appetite change, or your metabolism, might slow down a little bit, or get faster. All these things will always translate, and before getting to the muscle, it's going to always translate into your brain. You know, like when you say you're not feeling well today, or I feel down, I feel depressed, seasonal depression, this and that. Starting off at the starting point of being as healthy as you can be, or as possible in that situation, going into whatever is going to be happening, whether it be drama, problems, life issues, whatever it may be, always know that the healthier and the more fit you are mentally and physically, you're going to be able to translate that into dealing with whatever's going on a little bit better. I'm in full belief of that because I think you get a chance to take a step back in thinking that you have to deal with this, rather than or thinking of it in a way that you have to deal with this, rather than thinking of it it's something I can get done with in a week, or I'll do it again later, or whatever, because it does become an importance to you. That's why the whole question came, how important is it to you? Because you've been doing this for a while, and now your answer was like, it's very important. It is very important. It's
I
the
think
whole
going
package.
into wanting to go to the gym in the first place was that like my mental well-being. Like I know when I'm stressed out in any way, shape, or form, I need to do something and like be active. And before, being active was like, okay, let me go out for a few minutes, or let me do a few things around the house. That can only go for so long. Whereas like, I guess I don't know what the proper way to describe it is, but like amount of like emotional release, or like the weight literally being lifted off as I'm doing like hardcore workouts or doing like cardio even a little bit, is a different gratification that I feel from that versus like just doing something small that I was doing before to cope with it.
Yep. I totally agree. And like, I wanted to emphasize on the whole picture part, because like that'll translate into everything you do in life following, whether you're taking a test, studying for a test, preparing to go do something, or hoping you're not anxious about a certain situation. All these kind of things are going to make it so you're easier. It's easier for you to not be, I guess, affected by the outside world, because you kind of have your head on straight and everything's working like it should. So I don't want to harp too much on that, although it is very, very important. But I just want to say, Anne-Marie, super proud of you. Keep it up. We'll keep in touch with all this things going on. Anything you want to say finally for health and fitness?
Someone who has never really considered too much of like being active, or like didn't worry about it until like seeing the effects of it on like different family members, and like how they said, oh, I wish I could have done this earlier, like I wish I was more active when I was younger. Now is never too late to start, even if it's small ways of like just go outside for like 10-15 minutes when it's nice out, not when it's raining outside. Go out on a nice day to just walk around the block, or even like take a bike, use the city bike if you want, bring a friend along with you. If you want to go to the point like me where I try to go for a walk a few times a week, plus I'm going to the gym 3 times a week, that helps also. I think having the accountability of someone else, or just like letting someone know like, hey, I'm doing this, just wanted to let you know my progress, like how I do for Royce and for Dwayne as well. It helps because it's like, even though they're not physically, they're helping you out, they're still there cheering you on. And totally. I have done this before, and I'm going to say it again to my trainer, which I'm not going to say your name because I forgot to ask you earlier, but you know who you are. I know you're listening to this podcast because we talk about it during our sessions. Thank you, and you're stuck with me for another few months. So let's do this. I'm ready.
All right.
Whatever you throw at me.
Let's see. Moving on. A little bit.
To you, Royce, because like you have been on the other side, like as a trainer in some way, and like you do a lot of like health and fitness in some small ways. How important is it to you as of your life right now?
Super important. The big thing about it, I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but like say for instance right now, this week, sleep's been all over the place. I've been waking up super late, having to wake up super early, going to sleep super late, just a messed up sleep schedule. That alone, in terms of health and lifestyle, or health and fitness and in a lifestyle manner, totally affects me. Absolutely affects me. I'm tired the rest of the day. I didn't have breakfast. I slept. Everything's gonna affect that kind of thing. And I'm aware of it because I've seen how, lack of food or lack of sleep or being up for too long or running at 100% for too long, it does affect me, and I dwindle. There is a point where I can run full throttle, but there's a point where you're going to start seeing me slow down because, I need something. But I think I know myself well enough at this point. I know there's a lot of stuff about me that other people don't know. I have a lot of health issues. However, I've been able to deal with them, I would honestly say famously. There's a lot. I'm not going to say I have a tolerance for huge pain or whatever, but the things I've went through and the importance of health and fitness to mitigate all these things, it is crucial. It is crucial, and definitely when things were at their worst, was crucial for me to have a 100% strict diet to things that my body needed, and a very diverse look in the terms of exercise. I didn't want to just go to the gym. I wanted to be able to say, all right, let me hop on my bike. That was like, I don't know if you remember, like last year, it was my big thing. It's like, I want to go 100 miles on a bike. I went 52 miles at one time, but I want to keep pushing. So it's like, I'm finding what activities, what instances, what objects, and what situations are, how they're affecting me in those ways, and what I want to do with them. Maybe push harder on the bike, maybe take a week off the bike, or and vice versa for like all these other instances. Everything, to me, everything is a little Lego piece, and it's all going to make one big Lego wall. And as long as you know how to build your Legos, you know, everything's going to fall in place. Everything you just keep going up and up and up. And that's the thing about it. You can never get enough knowledge to where you know too much. That's never going to happen, you know? So my thing is, every event, every activity, every moment that I can take a learning tool from that, or some kind of a learning lesson from that, I will. And, you know, if I'm doing that, I'm not going to try and just put it in the back of my head and be like, all right, this, that, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm going to try and implement it in some way. You know, like I said, with the biking thing, if I want to push 100, looks like I'm going to have to go 65 next week, you know, or 70 next week, or take a week off and then do 80 or something like that. So it's definitely important, because it does affect everyone individually. And for me, I think like I said, I think I know my body very well, and I've tried things that didn't work. I've tried things that do work. And for right now, I think I'm coasting. When I say coasting, I don't mean I'm in a good spot. Diet needs to be better. Need to get back on that horse, and I need to hit my 100 miles on that bike. But I don't think I'm in a bad spot right now. I definitely, I put in my work. I say on a daily basis, I get my exercise through my job. I know I say I'm an Uber driver, but I'm in and out. I'm walking, I'm running, I'm doing a lot of things throughout the day. So it's like I definitely get an exercise in. I make my 6,000 to 10,000 steps a day. I definitely hit those. So it's like, as long as I feel like I'm doing a minimal at this point and keeping, kind of like status quo and, and not like dwindling, then I feel like I'm confident in either staying or making a decision to move forward or move back. But it's all depends on like what I really want to do at that point. Like, for instance, right now, I'm really full into this podcasting, like we're all over promoting, doing clips and stuff like that. And I actually want to shout out to Anne-Marie because I know we shout out the Instagram. Anne-Marie takes care of basically all the social media. I do the back end stuff, the editing, the OBS, and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely very helpful for me that she does that. So go over to Instagram page, Instagram.com official R&D podcast. We'll link it in the thing. But check it out. Do we actually have more posts going out through Instagram than any other platform?
Yes, slowly. If you guys have any suggestions on things you want to see, or like other stories that we have, I think we did a little bit of an intro thing in our highlights, so you can go check that out for each one of us individually. We'll try to incorporate and do more of that, but to have more engagement, and we want to interact more with you guys, because I feel like it's more personal on there versus on Facebook because of all the things that we have on our page. Instagram is more one-on-one in my opinion, so go check that out. Let us know whatever you want to see, or what you want the guys to see. Let us know whatever you want to see, or what you want the guys to see as well, because I will be suggesting things to them, and it's like kind of like with my channel, where like they're pushing me to do things that I wouldn't normally want to do, but it's like it's not so bad if it's something that I can at least try or put my mind towards. It's like, just give this a try. If it works, okay. If it doesn't, then we'll try something else and move on.
I'll be honest, there's a couple Easter eggs in those intros. So if y'all want to learn a little bit more about me, take a look into it, and you'll learn a little bit about Mr. Fireball himself. But yeah, we've got this is our break to push everything we got right now. YouTube, we've got all our podcasts out there. Anchor right now has put out I don't know if it's a beta or something for people that have been doing it. They have video podcast now, so you can actually have the option of watching the video or just listening to the audio. So we'll be updating that as we go on, so that if you are watching from Anchor or Spotify, it will update everything accordingly. So whether you want to listen to it by video or just audio, a lot of times we're on video, we're doing crazy stuff that you kind of want to see every now and again. Check it out. We're putting a lot of work into it, and I think you guys will enjoy it. But moving on to another question here. Oof. Okay.
As Rose says, oof, it's like one of those things that we're going to talk about, where please feel free to comment if you're watching the video. If you're listening to audio, send us a message of what you think on this. But we're switching from like something heavy to something a bit lighter to now a little more on the heavier, deeper conversation side. A little bit.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Think of, okay,
you haven't already? Let's hydrate together. Take your water or whatever beverage is close to you. Royce, I know it's close to you. Maybe put that down.
I'm about to say, it's in my hand. It's in my hand. You just tell me when. It's in my hand.
What you're holding does not count.
What?
A little sip of water and hydrate. Let's be healthy. Okay. I also took a breath in while I drank that. I cough a little bit because water probably went down the wrong pipe. There we go.
For anyone that wants to have a fireball drinking contest, we should do that one day too. You just DM me. No. We'll do it. But yeah, okay. So this is a two-part question. I will answer after you do to the first question. I'm going to paint a picture. Think of someone you really don't like, okay? Think of something you really, really don't like, you despise, okay? Someone you damn near hate, okay? What would you do if that person did something really bad to you? Like, just think of the worst thing that they could do.
One person definitely comes to mind.
Tell me what you would do right now as you, as the Anne Marie of the R&D podcast in the real world.
Okay. In real life, for the person I'm thinking of who I don't like and did something to upset me, just knowing me, first of all, I'm going to just process things on my own, try to think like, okay, is this something that could have been preventable? Was it something that I saw? Were they in the wrong? Was it me? Did I do something? And then approaching them afterwards would be a matter of like, you know what you did wrong? Do you know why we need to talk about this? If that person continues to go on and say how they weren't wrong, oh, like I didn't know that it was that big of a deal to you, oh, this and this, like just making excuses, which brings up the whole red flag things again of like, you don't understand what I'm saying, which if you don't know or understand, just say that. It's better to say that you're wrong or not know anything than to make excuses for it, which in my perspective, this is going to make me even more upset because like, this is going nowhere. Either we talk about this or we'll just stop talking. I have no problem doing that if I'm really, really upset and frustrated.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna call both of us out. We do that, and that's bad. It's bad because we're so, I don't want to say eager, but we're really ready to. The thing is we're really. You're right. This is a like historically, this is how we act. So unfortunately, that's why I bring this on. But like, we're too ready to, if something big pops off, for me to just go, aloha, gone. You know what I mean? Like, I have no part in this, no want in this. Like, there's nothing you can say or do to make me feel like I want to stay in this. You know what I mean? So it's like, I jumped to that conclusion very quickly. I know you guys know I dip out a lot of times, but I'm just like, I'm going to be by myself. Just let me chill on my beach by myself. You know, it's like, I do get it, but I definitely do see that as a downfall because we act very quickly. However, I will say that within this last year, we've done very well on not acting so quickly and maybe not talking about it completely, but at least reaching out to someone and say, hey, I feel this way. I don't feel good, or I need to say something to somebody, blah, blah, blah. You know, so I feel like we're making moves for sure. I think all of us, you, me, Andy, we're all making big steps in this year as far as communication. You know, we're going to harp on it again. Communication is key, and I think everyone has the ability to be great at it, and it only takes one person to start it off. It's kind of like the whole, the world be nice kind of thing. Pay it forward. Just do what you think is right, what you feel is right. A lot of times, it might not be the right answer. It might be that you jump to conclusions, but you'll never get to the end result to realize that was either the right decision or the wrong decision if you don't make an action towards it. You can sit down by yourself and stay silent and kind of like, and I think we all do this. Everyone in the world, we have our little like hidey hole where we just like go back to our comfort zone kind of thing, and it's good to have. That's really good to have. However, it can be damaging in a term of if you're too eager to jump into that kind of mindset, you might miss out on something that's right in front of your face because you already turned around.
Yeah. I think like with getting upset, it's like get more upset or to still dwell on what the issue is with no solution on it is just going to create a bigger, more disruptive thing where it's like, I just want to keep arguing with you and like something bad will happen, or am I upset and wanting to resolve or at least pick up of like, okay, either both of us are wrong or no one was and this was all a miscommunication. What is a way that we can move forward and resolve this in a way that we're both wrong, but we want to learn from our mistakes? I think that's the most important thing in my opinion, because again, if I just want to argue with someone or if I really wanted to hate them, I just wouldn't talk to them anymore.
Yep.
If I'm reaching out, it means that I want to resolve something that I think there's still a little bit of like, I want to help you and I know this is something that we both have as a friendship, relationship, or whatever, depending on whatever the situation is, regardless of who it's with. I want to still be hopeful that something good can come from this, and I don't want to have any ill intentions towards you because of something big or small that made me upset.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But what would you do? Would you approach the person and talk about it, or would you like? And remember, this is under the circumstances of they did like the worst thing they could have to you.
I think initially, like after I have my time of like processing or thinking of how I'm going to approach it, sometimes I would feel that, okay, I'm going to give them a chance to reach out. And if they don't within, I want to say at least a day, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, I know this has been something on our minds as of late. I don't want this to prolong any longer. Can we have a talk? Or like, can we talk about this so that we can find out what happened? Like, sometimes you don't even know what happens because you're so in the moment of your emotions and whatever other thoughts come up that everything goes from like 0 to 100 that it's fight or flight where you don't know what's going to happen next.
That's why I was really...
If you're both calm, or progress can come from solving or breaking down whatever the issue is.
Well, I want to cut back to where you said talking about what happened. Talking about what happened is just as important as talking about what we're going to do moving forward, because just like you were saying, there's a lot of unknowns going into a confrontation that you're basically making bets on. You know, in your head, you're like, okay, well, they probably think this, or I think they feel this way, or this and that, whatever. And without having that conversation on what happened, you miss, I would honestly say, like majority of the context of whatever that conversation was talking about, you know. And sometimes people initially aren't able to, you know, verbalize that in their initial speaking point of it. But say, for instance, the next time they talk about it, they probably are like, damn, I didn't say everything I really needed or wanted to say about that. So, you know, like, say, for instance, if you came to me and were like, okay, ask me.
I wish I said this, or like,
I wish
I said this and this. And like, that's the regret you want to try to avoid if you can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That'll still come up even afterwards, but it's like, bring those things up as you're discussing it when mostly cooled down from the situation, and if that person's still open to talking about it, then yeah, it'll make a lot more sense to do it then.
Definitely. I mean, you would always want to know, like I always say this, you want as much information about a subject or a situation that you can get going into like a confrontation or a conversation about a confrontation, because then the most information is known by all parties, you know. And then like, it's just I really feel like it's the better way to do it, because it's like, if I don't know something and I'm going off of that notion with, you know, like not knowing like a big issue or a big proponent of the issue, then I'm actually being disrespectful to that person by not asking what was the issue, or can you tell me more about it? You know, like I know I'm not perfect, but I definitely try and ask people, like, how did that make you feel? How did what I say, I may not have been right or I may not have been wrong, but how did that make you feel about what I said? Or, you know, how did you feel about what I did today, or what I said on stream, or whatever the hell, you know. It's very important to first get as much information as possible about the situation or the confrontation that you're going into. Let's be honest, most times it's confrontation. But going into it with the most information, it gives you the best possibility for a successful outcome for whatever you and they want, you know.
exactly. And like you said, like most of the time you won't hear half of what was said, or sometimes only the worst things you'll remember and pick up when maybe it was something that like was miscommunicated. They said something nice, but because you may have heard it wrong or only paid attention to the bad parts, there may have been good parts that you missed because you were so fueled by anger and frustration in the moment of whatever it was. Again, the person made you upset, or maybe you made them upset because something triggered in their mind that you can't really take back, but you can sort of understand where they're coming from and why that was such a traumatic thing for them to hear, to to deal with. Because you might not know that side, whether it's your best friend or even like your sibling or your parent. You don't know what could be going through their mind as that whole situation is going down.
Okay, so from my understanding, so in this circumstance, if someone did something like the worst thing in the world to you, you still would try your best to take a moment and think about how I need to address you or how I need to handle the situation. You still have a kind of a buffer period of, I'm not going to just spit words out of my mouth right now. I need to think about this kind of thing.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to go about it. But if it has to be something that is repeated occurrence, that like we're still arguing or I'm getting upset by the same thing again, then brings up again what we talked about before. It could be a red flag that this person doesn't have the capability of properly communicating it. It could be a reason why they're diverting back to whatever they said before, just in different contexts, where it's like, talked about this, but I don't know if what I said actually resonated with you or you picked anything off from that, because this is still an issue and thought we had resolved this, or what's another way that we can approach this so that something else good can come from this.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, I'm sorry. I can't continue on and like with people like that, because you're sounding like a broken record at this point.
I agree, because
I give people 3 chances.
That's the thing. It's like
just like baseball. 3 chances, you're out. Even if like had good moments or whatever, the bad things still will stick with me a little more than the good parts, if it's a repeated broken clock kind of thing.
Well, I agree, because like there's times where you don't know a crucial piece of information that changes the whole story, that changes the whole game, that where you go, oh, I had no idea. I feel like an asshole now. You know, it's like, how many times has someone been in that situation where it's like, if I would have just known that one piece of info, I would have understood. I would have felt it better. I would have understood. You know what I mean? Like there's always that little stuff that's like can be done that a lot of times is overseen or overlooked in the initial time, because it's like my emotions are going, my adrenaline's going. I don't know what you mean from what you said, so I'm kind of filling in the blanks in my own head. I want to put that out there. A lot of people do that because you don't know about, like say someone said something to me. Because I don't know the whole vernacular or the whole context of the whole situation, I might fill in the blanks myself and end up with a different ultimate outcome of that conversation than they intended at all. You know, so without me knowing that from that person or interacting or asking that question, I have no clue. I'm almost as naive as Valkyrie in the situation where it's like, I didn't do my due diligence in the terms of, I need to, you know, if this is someone I care about, or if this is a situation I care about, or if this is someone important to me, I need to do my work to make sure that they know how I feel and I know how they feel. You know, it's more of a mutual kind of aspect than this is a problem that I need to fix, or this is your problem that I need to give you an answer to. You know, it can be a mutual understanding. And like I always say, you learn every goddamn day. You're going to learn new things every goddamn day. And the more you learn, the better off you are. 100%. 100%. No one ever was scrutinized or demeaning because you knew too much. What comes with you knowing more than someone is you being able to help that person that doesn't know that. That's what I take from it. You know, like I'm a big proponent in like pushing the help factor. When I like, for instance, when my daughter was growing up, I used to teach her that, baby. I used to say, baby, what's the one reason that we're Hawaiian? Asking a Hawaiian person that's a difficult question, because you're going to say a whole bunch of things. It's my job to protect the kingdom. It's my job to protect the queen, the king. It's my job to pass on the knowledge of all my all the ancestral generations onto the next generations, blah 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 blah. But there's so much to it. There's so much to it that if you don't know, it's blinded by the light. It's just so over your head. You're never going to be able to come up with it by yourself. So asking questions and putting yourself in, I'll be honest, putting yourself in a vulnerable state or a vulnerable position to get the answer you need to further develop a situation, I would say is more necessary than not. Because a lot of times people's pride get in the way, and pride has no justification in knowledge. Absolutely none.
Oh.
Absolutely none.
Now that you're on that point, I'm going to switch the situation for you, but instead, what if someone got upset with you, and instead of like dealing with the consequences of like, oh, we need to have a talk, or like things need to be discussed so nothing further make this worse, but what if there were no consequences? So let's say, for example, I'm going to start some unnecessary beef, so whoever's watching, take this as you will. Let's say, Royce, I say something to you that you're totally offended by, but there were no real consequences that came up where it's like, I didn't say anything, you didn't want to reach out, and we just left it at that. How would you react, or how would you deal with that situation?
Okay, wait, so the situation being that you
said something offensive to you, and we go our usual habits of like, we just don't talk, or like we don't say anything on it, so there's no real consequences initially.
For me at this point, I would get to a point where it would probably go a couple days where like we stopped talking, and you would end up getting a text from me saying, we need to talk. I need to talk to you. And usually, I don't want to say usually, I would say in my head, the following, whatever follows, like if you were to respond in that instance, and well, you know what, I'm gonna take that out, because with you it's different, because with you it's like, if a situation happens, I know to think about the whole situation ahead of time. Let me think about if someone I didn't know, like just same thing, someone I didn't know did the worst thing they could to me. In real life, I would crack you. I would crack you really fast, because I come from Hawaii, where false cracks are there's nothing false about them. You're still getting hit, you know. And
it would involve consequences. What if like someone tried to throw a punch and you let them take it because you just didn't want to deal with it and they came for you? Because in a way, the question that we posed to each other for this was like, if there were no consequences, there's always going to be consequences for your actions, right? But
yeah,
I think where we're going about is like, initially we want there to be consequences versus what I think we're trying to get at with this, where it's like, we don't want to react on impulse right away.
So I have two answers. And so my first answer will go is, if it goes situationally. If it has to pertain to my family and my Hawaiian, it's going to get aggressive faster than you can react. If it has anything else to do with anything other than something I love and care about, then I will absolutely take the time to think about things and, you know, basically cover my bases, pull my just in case, you know. However, I know for a fact that my family and my Hawaiian, my heritage, my everything, if you put that into question, I am the warrior that was born out of the kingdom of Hawaii. I would treat you that way. That's my mentality in my head, because that's what I was born into. You know, be the big, strong Hawaiian man, protect your own, respect your own, and like you know, all my actions will flow into that kind of thing. However, let's put it in a more realistic thing where it's not affecting those things. I absolutely I can say I'm the most badass motherfucker there is, and I can crack you as hard as I can, whatever. But I'm a dad. If my daughter's with me, I can't just crack you. I can't just go after you. I can't just you know, bang bang boom boom, let's get it done with. I have to act in a way, just like when the whole Jomali thing happened. I have to act in a way that is almost in an upper level of being able to see things, knowing that I'm probably wrong, but I need to handle this in a way that my emotions, my feelings, and my knowledge need to work intertwined, not separately, intertwined. Because I can't push back my emotions. I can't push back my pride. I'm Hawaiian. I'm prideful. But also, I can't push back reality and the knowledge that I've gained up to this time. Knowing that impatience, adrenaline, anger, lack of sleep, lack of diet, lack of all these things, so many factors can lead up to someone saying something that they don't necessarily mean or this or that, then I would have to, I'll be honest, I would have to grab that person and pull them aside and say, like I'm honest, like I would say I'd crack you more than anything, but honestly, I would be the guy to pull you aside and say, hey, if you need to fucking hit me, hit me. Hit me as many times as you need to get whatever you need to out of your system. And then when you're done, tell me what's wrong, because I'm going to fucking hug you. Like, there's nothing that you need to be scared of. There's no reason for me to be mad. This is my time to help you. You tell me what the fuck I need to do for you. If you need to hit me, hit me. If you need to swear at me, swear at me. If you need to say whatever you need to say, do whatever you need to do. But after you're done, I'm going to give you a big fucking hug and I'm going to hold you. And like, cause that's what I want out of every situation. I never want a bad situation to happen. I want both of us to, I mean, this happens on a daily, you know, like I don't talk about this all the time, but this happens on a daily where it's either holding someone's door open or interaction with someone else where it's like they weren't expecting that, me being as nice or open or you know, like courteous to them. They were expecting like, dude, thank you very much. No, thank you, man. You have an awesome day. Go on with your day. That's what I want out of all these situations. I don't want to crack you. I don't want to beat you up. I don't want anything, because that, to me, that doesn't do anything. In Hawaii, you get in a fight, one person's gonna get beat up. After someone gets beat up, you hug, you shake, you walk away. The problem is done. So there's like, for me, the initial violence factor of it, it's like, okay, if you're on the same level as me, we're both hot-headed, we can bang it out. But afterwards, I know to address you, to hug you, to say I love you, and to move on with the situation wherever it may be. So I have to say that my upbringing in terms of love and affection for one another and like my neighbor, you know, I have that's definitely going to play faster than my reaction to hit somebody. 100%. I'm 21. I'm at an age now where I don't need to hit you anymore. I'd rather just give you a whole love.
Because actions will have their repercussions afterwards, whereas your words, you can easily diffuse a situation or change how the outcome is based on how you say things and your tone of voice, which I feel like we've touched on a previous episode, where your tone of voice and the words that you use to talk to someone as if they're a little kid.
Yeah.
As a lot of like what your character is or how you perceive them to be. Whereas like if you say things in a level-headed and mature way that best fit for what the situation is, it makes a lot more sense, because like you're trying to see each other as equals, and it's not like one's alpha, one's beta. And it's like, no, let's try to solve this as maturely as we can, but also to, again, like you said, like try to, if you can, get a hug out of it, or at least like walk away shaking hands, and everyone goes about their day and there's no more hard feelings towards it.
Yeah. I personally take a lot from being able to go into a situation knowing that it could get hairy, but walking away with like both of us being surprised that we were able to send love both way and like, you know, just like have a nice day going forward. That's my big thing. Push all the aloha all the time. But okay, so I know we went a little bit over on this one, so let's push on to the next one. Oof, this is the big one here. This is the make it or break it game. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into it. Do you have it pulled up to start it off?
Yes. Well, I think I might go into this for another thing. I know everyone really liked the Jamalian Jeopardy thing. We might do this as like an open thing for anyone to participate in, but this is a game that we played with a few of our friends that all of this somehow ties back to like our first initial starter thing in a way, where it's the red flags of like what are red flags you need to pay attention for, how do you know like if it's a good or bad thing. This is a fun take on it, which I heard from another podcast. There's a subreddit on it, but then I found another link that has a few more interesting things. And the reason why this game is called Make It or Break It, it's almost what it sounds like, where we're going to give a statement and it's either make it where you want to be with that person regardless of what the thing is, or it's a turn off or breaking point where it's like, no, that's not something I'm willing to go along with. So the example that I'll give is This guy is perfect in every way, ideal partner just for you. They're perfect, but they constantly want to dance the Macarena in the middle of the night. Is that a make it or break it? For me, if it's every single night in the middle of the night, a few times, okay, I'll laugh and I'll join. After that, I'm like, the hell in bed.
Okay, I agree with you there. Because the first couple times, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to be the first one to dance with you, I promise. But after a couple, I'm going to be like, all right, can you go to bed? It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
So that's kind of what we're going to go on. We'll touch base on a few of them just to alleviate some of the heavy topics we had today, which if you're still listening, thank you. If you're just listening to this now, thank you also. This is going to be a little end off before we go to our final topic. So I'm going to go through a few, and we'll see how this goes. So Royce, this girl, perfect in every single way. But she likes to sing 24/7 and doesn't have the best karaoke voice.
For me, I can deal with it because I've dealt with it. A lot of girls I've been with sing. Well, let me just put this out there. A lot of girls I've been with sing loud and proud. Okay, and let me be honest with you. I don't care if you sing good or bad. If you having a blast doing it, sing loud and proud. Get on. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
Every time, even if I'm mad at you.
I'll change my mind. Get this girl off my podcast. Get her off. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I feel like if I saw them enjoying themselves, good. You good. And this is my stigma to this, my caveat. I say that because when I was growing up, my mom told me my whole life, and I come from a musician family, like famous musicians in Hawaii, and I am tone deaf as a motherfucker. So when I'm singing, I
don't think you're tone deaf. It's just maybe you can't pick up a beat as well as you think you can.
I don't believe I can pick up any beat. I don't pick up any beat. The only beat I can pick up is a rap beat. Any like
that though.
I don't know. I just know I'm not as good of a singer as all the people before me. However, I have a blast doing it. I remember this is why I say that. There was one time when I was a kid, my dad had a big Hawaiian band up here in Arizona, big speakers, stage, like the whole shebang. Okay, and I remember one time I learned the song Johnny Cash. What was it? God, I forgot what song it was. I forgot what it was, but it was a Johnny Cash song, and it was like a classic, and I learned it. I did the whole thing, the harsh voice on it and everything, and I had such a blast doing it. And my mom at the end was like, Royce, oh, my son, come here, give me a hug. You can't sing at all. I'm like, aw, what? I thought it was good. You know what I mean? But I had a fun time doing it. However, from that experiment or from that situation, I was like, okay, I know I can't sing that good, so I won't put it out there like that. However, I know I have a lot of fun doing it. So I think if I see that in the other person, I'd be okay with it. I don't think that's a break for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, what about this one? He's
you have it open. I'm gonna let you say one to me because there's quite a few on here that are interesting.
We'll go through. Just let me know whenever you want to finish with this one. So this one is, he's perfect, except he's always talking about how pretty or hot other girls are.
I have a bit of an issue with that due to previous experiences where it's fine if you want to say that, and like sometimes I could be into them also. There's a lot of beautiful, attractive girls. I can understand.
Okay, Marie.
But hold on. This could be what make this a deal breaker, where it's like you constantly have to talk about those people, and let's say we have a thing going on and you only compare me to them. That's where it's an issue.
Yeah.
Constantly talking about them, like we're gonna take Doja Cat, for example. Everyone can say everything about like how amazing she looks, her voice and everything. But if you start saying all these things and then flip it over and be like, oh, I wish she could be like this, or like, oh, this and this is great about her. As a girl, I feel a little self-conscious about that because you see in them isn't fully what I can provide to you. So what does this mean? You only like them for that, and because I don't have that, you don't like me anymore? No, I don't think so. If you're talking about other people and you're seeing like, oh, Doja Cat's amazing and singing, blah, 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 it's like, yeah, I totally agree, and she looks amazing as well. That's fine, leave it at that. Any further?
There's one caveat for me on this one. Jason fucking Momoa. Okay. I've been called.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. And no, I don't see it either. I don't see it either. There are the only things that we look alike in are our Polynesian heritage. That's it. And the thing is that okay, I have hair. He has hair. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. I love that dude. He's my cousin as far as I'm concerned. But if you're gonna throw it out there with as many people as told me, oh my God, you look like Jason Momoa. You look like Jason Momoa. I'm good. I'm fucking good. I'm good. Like if you can't tell the difference, then I'm good. I'm good because that's too much for me. It's like people don't understand. It's like this dude is from like the city right next to my city, and I'm not talking like far miles in between. I'm talking like 300 feet that way. Like we are from the same place. I absolutely respect him. I absolutely do. Everything he's been in, I love his movies, do the whole shebang. However, if you are going to say that about him and then like expect me to take something good from that, it's like, it's not your fault. It's the amount of times I've heard that from myself, from like, oh, you look like this guy. No, I don't think so. I think I look very much differently. I'm Filipino. He has no Filipino in him. I have much different factors about me than him. You know what I mean? My beard grows fully. I don't have a patchy beard like him. Motherfucker. What's up? I'm just kidding. Calling you out hella.
Okay, boys, next one. Oh, I think this one will apply to you a little bit, but in reverse. Hold on. Let me read through it. This girl is perfect in every way, except she never replies back to texts or calls.
I thought you were going for a different one. I was like, no, go for the next one.
No, we're going with this one because what happens sometimes, little voice on the spot here, sometimes I'll message him and it's hours later, which I get. He's busy and has work, but it's like, sometimes it's something that's a little urgent. It's like, please tell me that you see it, or like I'll see like the little thing that says they read it. That's good enough for me. If it takes a while, I'm like, what other things can I bug them on if it's a real big thing?
I'm being exposed
on right now. This girl, she's perfect, doesn't want to reply back at all.
If she doesn't want to reply back at all,
she does all of it on her own to you. When you try to call her, text, she doesn't want to answer.
I would, if she didn't answer when, like I said something, it kind of depends on like what I was saying. If it was important, then she didn't read it, then I would probably be upset about it. However, knowing that I'm actually that girl in that situation, like you're saying, I absolutely agree. I would try and give as much leeway as possible. And I think I do that in some instances. Say, for instance, like I don't talk to someone for a couple of days or a day or something like that. I'm able to translate and ask questions like, say, okay, what happened? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. But I think it's the unknowing, like, I don't know what's going on now, I'm feeling anxious kind of thing that I used to deal with, that it's like, okay, that's a bigger thing for when you're really, really worried about what someone thinks about it or what's going on. If you don't care that much about it, then it's easier just to I can address it right as it is. But for me, I would say if you're not texting me back up to a certain point, you're going to stop getting texts from me altogether. There's not like I'll text you next week or I'll text you like just like how we dip out from people, I will have dipped out from you.
That's fair. That makes sense because it's kind of blocking communication. And if it's in that context, or it's like, you could at least do that if we're not able to meet in person right away, which I think that's where it's going, but it's like 2021, in some way, someone's texting or calling or they're on their phone anyway, so at least answer that, or at least acknowledge, like, use emojis if you don't want to fully say anything in words right away. Just send something that gives a little sign that, like, okay, I saw what you said and I acknowledge it.
For instance, me and Anne-Marie, we'll do the thumbs up. We'll thumbs up the very last reply. That way we like a heads up. It's like, hey, I saw it. Might not be able to reply right now, but it's like a heads up knowing that we received it. Let me go into this one. I skipped a couple.
Let's do one more each, and then this can be a little thing that will have everyone else's input on as well.
Yeah, we'll put like an Instagram thing out and then put a poll out. Okay, so I picked one. Make it or break it. Okay, he's perfect except you're 1.5 feet taller than him.
I would love that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know, because Anne-Marie is 4 foot small, but look,
Okay,
I'll be
wait a
honest,
second.
if you found someone 1.5 feet smaller than you, I would be like, no, this doesn't work. Go away.
Yeah, 1.5 feet taller, but wait, how tall would that person
No,
be?
no, no, no. No, no, no. You're 1.5 feet taller than him.
So how tall is the dude?
So
Wait,
he's,
I'm okay with being a little bit taller.
well, okay, because I know you're so small, he's 2.5 feet tall.
I would still be the same height. Wait, then what? Hold on. Hold on. This is not a good example. You said the person
No.
is 2.5 feet tall and
Okay,
I'm a
so-
foot taller. I'm less than 3 feet. I'm shorter than.
No. So the question is, the guy is shorter than you.
Yes.
So imagine just say you're 5'9" and the guy is 5 foot.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I want to see what it's like to be tall for once.
Oh, you would try it out? You wouldn't be against that?
Oh.
I wouldn't be against it either. I did it a girl that was 6'4". She's a volleyball player in high school, and we had absolutely no problems doing anything. A lot of times, the thing is, it's a notion of thinking that the biggest person in the world is going to date the smallest person in the world. It doesn't need to be that. You know, like you can measure 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. It's not that big of a difference. You know, like if I'm talking to you,
doesn't depict who they are on the inside.
Totally.
One of my friends was dating someone that was slightly taller, and he was a dude that was much shorter. Was a little bit of a breaking point for him, but not that much, because again, height doesn't really matter too much. Honestly,
I like that.
People that I think in the
Bart and Gio,
something like that. Well, Bart and Gio, they're kind of close, but there's a couple where the dude is 6 foot tall.
Bart and Gio are not close. Bart is
4 feet tall.
I can be honest.
4 feet. That's a big difference.
To me, Bart is 5'2" and Gio is 6 foot giraffe. That's just flat out, and I'm pretty sure that's a fact. I read it in the Encyclopedia of 1992. It's a fact.
Okay. No, I don't mind. I honestly want to see what it's like to be a little taller than I am right now. So I'm cool with that. Go.
What you got for me?
Okay. Very interesting one.
All right, but he says make it. You'd be okay with it? I think a lot of people would be okay with that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to do a very funny one. Well, funny for me because this is, again, more tailored towards you. Perfect in every way, Royce, but they're a hardcore doomsday prepper. And we're talking about they have a canned food reserve, they have a bunker in their basement, they're running drills every month or so everyone in the house is refreshed on everything. Doomsday preparer.
I would marry that person. And immediately, the second I realized that they had all those resources, you're going to be Mrs. Just in Case. Let's go. Bring it in. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be honest, if you go into my garage, I probably got half the shit that girl has in her, her bunker down. I prepared too, girl. Let's go. We're going out here today. Just kidding.
Makes sense, especially if it's in a place that's more prone to things like natural disasters. Take, for example, if you're on the West Coast, earthquakes are more of a thing that people should be prepared for. Here, no. You'd say earthquakes sometimes happen, but no one feels them at all. It's not as relevant. So, say if the girl lives West Coast, just like you, that would make sense. And you can crash at their place. Everyone else will be jealous because you guys already practice and go through everything. Plus, you always have food on reserve all the time. So.
I'll never be that. I'll never be the one that doubts someone in that situation. I'm like, hey, so when something happens, means if I'm not prepared, you are. There's no downfall. You being prepared, over prepared. I don't feel like that's the thing. All right, let me break into this last one, and this one is, I don't know if it's gonna be. Well, let's get into it. Okay, he's perfect, except he likes to kiss and tell. Is that an issue for you? Because I'll be honest, before you say anything, I love doing that. I love kissing and telling. I love something. The thing is, I love it because when someone asks me, I speak in a way that's not lying, but I'm amping that person up big time.
It's not bad, but I think my standpoint, say the kiss is bad and then they tell about it before I get a chance to say something on it. Right? Like, let's say kiss was good or bad, then immediately when you part ways, they're already texting their friends about it. It's like, oh, she had like bad breath, or like did this, she was all over on my face and blah blah blah. It's like, I get a say in this because I was on the other side. Well, and like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like in certain ways it's fine, but like to have everyone know as soon as it happens, which is
that's the thing.
I don't know.
That's the thing for me too.
It's never going to be good enough because you always feel the need to tell after it happens.
Yeah. The thing is, I understand that, and I get the need for people to speak on things like that. However, I know I've personally said in certain instances where it's like you could tell people whatever we did, blah 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 blah. But I remember there was one instance where it was like, hey, we just banged. Can you not tell our close friends about the intimate details of us banging? Is that okay? Cool. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is where it's like, I'll basically try and block the this is for you and me talk. You know, you can tell them whatever, but like you and me know this info, and only you and me should know this info. You know, like my penis size, your boob size, whatever. Like, you know, like I feel like that's almost overstepping a boundary for the other person. It's like you have no right to say that about someone, whether you were intimate with them or not, kind of thing. So it doesn't sit well with me. So, like I said, I would like to hype them up, but up to a certain point. I'm very much a person that's like, you don't need to know all my info. I'll let you know what you want to know, but you don't need to know all of it. How you think I'm so good at Mafia? I don't show you all my cards. Let's go.
Okay, well, that's not at all what you're supposed to do when playing Mafia. Though you like claiming you're Mafia whether or not you are, so.
That's a fact. If you play Mafia with me, I'm Mafia.
Because for some reason it's always Mafia. I can't say much more. You just have to play with him. That's all that needs to happen.
Play with me a little bit, you know what I mean? Not like that, but I mean maybe like that. I'm just gonna moving on.
Okay, I think this will be a game that we can go back to because there's so many other things that like we can go and on and get into, but I think we'll go into our last little bit before we wrap up, which I think we've talked about a little bit, but we want to sort of emphasize a little bit more, which is like a lot of things that we get inspiration from is from like social media or things that people are talking about in the news or in pop culture, but get quite a bit of inspiration from other podcasts that we listen to. So
definitely.
Sometimes it's just like concepts or ideas, but we always try to make it our own in some way, shape, or form. So we kind of put together a list of different podcasts that we like listening to and the reasons why we want to sort of promote or talk about these podcasts. Royce, I'll let you go with yours because I have a lot of podcasts I listen to on a rotational cycle.
Yeah, totally. I'll go quick with this one because I've been thinking about this one. So I'll just quickly go through three that I do. Me and Emery have a few that we overlap in that we're able to like watch together or talk about at another date. For me personally, it's always number one's going to be Joe Rogan Experience, number one fucking podcast in the world, right underneath the R&D podcast. But the whole thing about the Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast, is that he brings on guests and people that he doesn't exactly know firsthand or he doesn't know a subject about. He really tries to bring people on that he doesn't know the answer to something, and he asks you it directly. He's very able, very good at verbalizing questions, and when people like don't understand it a little bit, he's very good at providing supporting info, like research, like that kind of like makes you feel like, oh, you've looked into this a little bit, but you still want to know my response. Okay, that makes me feel better about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, you may not know everything about it, but it seems like you're a person that wants this information, that this knowledge I'm about to say is important in some way to you. So I like hearing, and I don't go by a lot of people from the Joe Rogan Experience, they'll go by the person that they're having on. I go by the description. They'll always say a theoretical physicist that talks about this, and this, or a health and fitness and lifestyle instructor that talks about this, and this. If it's a subject, or at least even a bit of a subject that I'm inclined to listen to, I'm clicking on it, and I'm gonna wait and figure out what it's talking about or what I have to hear about it. There's so many things I've learned from the Joe Rogan Experience that I never thought, just completely over my head. that it's just it's an important thing for me to just kind of check up on. Another one is called the Scuff Podcast. It's by Trainwrecks TV. Shout out to Trainwrecks TV. AZ in the house. Let's go. A lot of people, it's for a lot of people, Scuff Podcast is a nonsense podcast of just basically all the top streamers just going nuts, talking about random shit. I'll equate that to because I'm trying to be somewhere in that kind of social media instinct or scene or something. I take a lot from what their viewpoints are on questions that they answer, and they'll go straight up with questions. You know, they're not like, I can't talk about this, can't talk about that. They'll straight up give you the answer, and like the hardcore truth answer that it feels like, for me, it feels like when I'm listening to that, most of the time, it's like I'm hanging with the boys. You know, I'm just chilling with the boys, with the girls, and we're just spitballing, talking about what we want to talk about and giving our opinions. A lot of people have problems with it in the podcast, but that's the way you meet in the middle. You know what I mean? You got to hear you out. I hear you. That makes sense. You know, I disagree, but I agree with this. It's like so many, I would say it's my, keeping up with the Kardashian of the Twitch world. That's my Twitch version of that for podcast. And then the last one I want to throw out there is the Fresh and Fit podcast. So many people hate the podcast. I get it. They're like very masculine, alpha, beta, blah, blah, blah. If you're not an alpha, you're a beta. Let me tell you something. If you're an alpha or a beta, you ain't the omega, motherfucker. But the whole point about me liking the Fresh and Fit, the whole thing about me liking the Fresh and Fit podcast is that you're getting to hear that truthful opposite side. Like, you know, majority of people don't think the way they do, but hearing them verbalize it, it makes it more real. So it makes it more of a thing to respond to. And the part that I love the most is people's response to it, because most likely the responses that they get from there are their initial, I'm pissed, fuck you, hear me roar kind of response. And I like seeing those. I like seeing it to where people are like, you're acting the way you would act in person. I want to know how you would really act. You know what I mean? So I take a lot from what they say, whether it's productive or effective or constructive or whatever it is. I'm going to take a lot from what you say because it's your initial reaction. That's kind of the key point there. It's like, this is a controversial subject. Clearly, this is your take on it, and you know what I mean. Kind of go from there. I'd rather just hear the take than have to complain about it. But those are the three that, for me, that I take a lot from.
Now for me, I would say a lot of the podcasts that I've listened to have to do with like other people and like things I hear from those that I already follow on like Instagram or on YouTube. The first one, my favorites, and I've followed them and have personally met them as well. So I might be a little biased on some of these because I might have met a few of them, but not fully. Asian Boss Girl. It features three friends, Helen, Janet, and Melody, and their whole tagline for their podcast is modern day Asian American woman, what their lifestyle is, changes, different things that go on in the Asian American community, but also being female entrepreneurs. And their whole title or their branding is to change the narrative of the, I guess the term ABG, which most people know in pop culture for Asian baby girl, which has a bit of a negative connotation. So they switched it to Asian Boss Girl, where it empowers not just women, but also men as well to be the best version of themselves and leading themselves to success, basically. Another one that I like listening to is Perfectly Imperfect. Again, these are two girls that I followed from the very beginning of their career, and as well as this podcast. Perfectly Imperfect is both Christine and Regina, two best friends that are sharing their stories through being vulnerable on their journeys with mental health, growing as women, other things from their friends as well that they invite as guests, relationships, any and everything, where they have open and honest conversations about things that they've experienced, but also things that they want to share and be open to their community about. Big Mood, if you watch JK, you know the girls of JK, both present and past. They created that to have like their own little talk show version. They get to talk openly and have fun with different things that like girls want to talk about. I think some of their guests have also been guys as well, where
Boobies.
just open the door to any and everything on there. So check that out. Backlash Tuesdays. If you know Bobby Lee, you know his amazing and beautiful girlfriend, Kalila. Oh my God, I'm jealous. She is a goddess. I just want to point that out, first of all. Um, Her and her two friends who are actors and comedians, both Annie and Esther, they like to refer to themselves as the trash slugs, which if you listen, you'll understand what that is. They just talk about any and everything from guests that they bring on. Bobby Lee comes on as well, and just go off the cuff on any and everything. And sometimes they have different themes where they'll dress up, or a lot of like girl talk and different stories and experiences that they have where they are trash, they know that, and they're open and honest with talking about it.
They're okay with it.
I think another one that I recently started listening to, which I'm happy I sort of found on accident in a way, is called Filipino Fridays, which is a podcast by fellow Filipino Canadians.
Filipinian?
Specifically because they're in Vancouver, Canada.
Canada.
They talk about their experiences of the Filipino experience being immigrant children and talking to other people in the community, as well as like the tie between of like, are we fully Filipino, are we fully Canadian, or are we somewhere in between? So discovering those sides from other people in the community and their own experiences as well. And they're all cousins.
Let me answer that question for you, because you were like, am I Filipino or am I Canadian? The answer is you're Mexican-American, okay? Because you're Filipino, you're Mexican, and if you're Canadian, you're American, so bang, 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 bang.
So those are ones that I personally listen to. The three that both me and Royce and also Dwayne, we listen to and we get a lot from. The very first one is A Mango, which is by Stephanie Sue, who I'm going to just straight up and say right now, she is the true crime mukbang queen, because the way that she addresses and talks about her stories, literally, she used to not like anything gruesome or horror related, but the way that she says it, it makes it still seem pretty gruesome and gory because she goes into the nitty gritty of every single case or movie or book that she talks about. It sounds less intimidating with the way that she describes it. I don't know if you feel the same way, Royce, when you listen to every single case that she talks about.
Well, this is what I'm going to put this out in the universe. Stephanie, if you're going to watch this or if you see any of this, come on the show and let's interview you.
I love you. You're the best queen.
Oh my God. Okay, relax. Relax. This is why she has so much goddamn merch over here. Okay, but I will say that with Stephanie Sue, it's the voice. It really is a voice of calming, but at the same time exciting and adrenaline driving, but at the same time can be sad or can be, can be really emotional. Very, very, very well storyteller. She's very, very well in that terms of it, and I thoroughly enjoy it all the time.
I think the commentary with her fiance as well adds on to the little comedy bits in between as well, where it's like he doesn't know anything, she knows everything, so it's a good balance in between where he's also a listener like us, but picks up and asks the questions that we're probably asking while we're listening to it. So a lot of fun. And if you want to listen to some true crime stuff but don't want to physically see it or whatever, or maybe you can even learn a few things, because there's something that she talked about that happened here in Toronto that I found out through her. So my eyes saw all of that.
Tonto.
Okay, the next one that we like listening to, it's from my fellow Canadian babe, Miss Lord DIY, Miss Lauren Rihimaki, with her boyfriend Jeremy Lewis.
Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy, Big J man, coming at you all the way from Lebanon, from Lithuania, Arkansas.
My goodness.
That's how you know we watch it.
The countries that they get the most viewers from, but I will get in, probably mention next time. But Well Till 9 is pretty much them sometimes having a little drink or two, which happened in the beginning. But if you know Lord DIY, how she was, this sort of changed me and made me respect her even more, because the things that like any of us have probably been through or experienced that she talks about, but the dynamic between her and her boyfriend, and then their friends that come on there, it's stuff that like I learned about that like I wouldn't have known or would have guessed. It's very entertaining with like the belittling that they have and like the occasional teasing. And if y'all are OG listeners or viewers from us, Gray Sweatpant Ween, that was inspired by Wild.
Yo, I'm wearing them right now. I'm wearing them right now.
Oh, God. Guys, it's Gray Sweatpant Ween season.
I had to hide the ween. But
wearing a gray hoodie, so sure, I'm halfway there.
Boobies.
Really good podcast, honestly.
Gray sweatpant booby ween.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Moving on. The last one is kind of related, and I take credit and say I introduced it to both Royce and Dwayne, where it's by Jack Chen, who is the fiance of one of the hosts for Perfectly Imperfect that I listen to, and his podcast is called Right in the Fields, which, Royce, I'll let you say a little about his podcast, because you very easily became interested and attracted to the things that he talks about on there. I can say a lot, but I want to hear your opinion.
I really like it because it is like a couple kind of thing where, I mean, not his show, but it's a combination of seeing him and his wife together on a separate show, and then seeing what he talks about on his thing, because it's really, it gives the guy factor of the podcast, but it also goes into like, okay, well, maybe I actually need to be thinking about what I'm doing in this situation rather than just being so arrogant and thinking I'm the big man or this is what I need to do in that situation. Maybe my partner needs to hear more from me. Maybe she needs this, you know what I mean? It's definitely a more of, for me, it's like I see you on an eye level kind of thing, and let's talk about some of our issues right now that are going on that we really deal with. And a lot of stuff that he talks about, I can extrapolate into other things that I do in my life. So it's very, very, he might have a whole lot of followers, whatever, but there's definitely things that correlate in between us that I can, I can see where things fall in line with it. I personally really like it because the way he comes off, it's very funny, but I gotta push that he's always super honest about everything. I never think that he's lying to me about a situation because he's always saying things as truthful as honesty. I'll also say, me and Emery were in a meeting with one of them or whatever it was with both of them. So with Jack and his wife as well. Everyone was hyping up his wife, like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful!" Blah blah blah. I was so proud to be one of the only guys in there to be like, "Jack, you're amazing too. I love you. I'm the fan over here," because I was like the only other one who was like, "Go Jack, go Jack, go!" Because I listen. I'm your fanboy over here. I really enjoy listening to his podcast. It's a good format. Everything that he has it set up, it's just very well worded that I can understand.
I think a lot of that comes from the conversations that he already has with friends and why Beyonce Christine brought it up in the first place. And doesn't only talk about from the guy's perspective, he also brings her on and a few other friends to say their piece as well. So it's a good mix in between. So it gives both equals perspective, but has a lot of insight that when I met him through an online meetup that he and his fiance had. There's a lot of what you hear on the podcast, but it's even more in depth where it's conversations that he's had, but he wants to get in more detail and get the perspective for other people that you wouldn't already know. So one of the episodes that he recently did, talking with someone who is a dad. He's a dad of 2 kids and gets the full perspective on what the pregnancy was like from the dad's side, what he did to help as a husband to his wife, and how to raise children as well. Not easy. So shout-outs to, I guess, all the podcasts that we said, Joe Rogan Experience, Scuff Podcast, Fresh and Fit Podcast, which I have slight issues with, but it's totally fine. All the ones I mentioned as well, Asian Boss Girl, Perfectly Imperfect, Big Mood, Trust Tuesday, I don't know why I'm struggling to say that, Filipino Fridays, and then the ones that we like listening to, Wild Till 9, Rotten Mango, and then Right in the Fields. Check them out if you'd like to, and if you have any other podcasts that we should be listening to, let us know too.
Yeah, definitely let us know. We have, these are just some that we came up with to list off. We definitely have more that we listen to. However, For me, I would say out of all of them, with like yours, mine, and our combined ones, I'll honestly say my top, and it's tied for the top, Wild Till 9 and Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan Experience for the knowledge, Wild Till 9 because I really, really enjoy it. I mean, just, and whatever they're talking about, I enjoy it. It's a couple talking. It's, real stuff happening. They're doing things in their own way, and it's just very enjoyable to listen to.
Me, my top will always be Asian Boss Girl, Perfectly Imperfect, Alto 9, and Right in the Feels, because some of those people, and I'll be biased because I've listened to them for quite a while, I've joined events or like there's been events where I got to meet them in person, so I especially feel a bit more of a connection to them.
Yeah.
Everything else is like slowly learning, and some were recommendations, so they're also equally as good. I'm just being a little biased. Again,
you see this topic that we got on this comment over here? Mr. Amadeus, what did he say?
Did he say? Pick for next podcast. No.
Topic for next podcast. I'm gonna see.
It'll be for the guys. I will.
Okay, so this was the comment because she doesn't want to say it. No Nut November plus addiction to sex and masturbation. That's something that I could talk about. I can definitely talk about next one. I don't think it'll be a huge talking point, but we'll see because it will be November. I got to be honest with you. I've never partook in No Nut November. It just doesn't work. I don't care if it works or not.
Well, thank you for your suggestion. We will consider it and amongst the three of us and see how that vibes. Other than that, Royce, do you have any final thoughts for everything that we discussed, which was a roller coaster of emotions and
totally
discussions that we had with Alberto, and then other things that just the two of us talked about?
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap it up all together, I think drama is going to happen when you're a famous figure. It's more crucial when you're a famous figure to cross your T's and dot your I's a little bit more carefully, do a little bit more research and develop it, listen to the R&D podcast, get some info. It's also, as far as health and fitness, there's no doubt about it where health and fitness go hand in hand, and both of those things will go hand in hand in damn near everything in your lifestyle. And that can play a role and benefit those things as well. The podcast, I actually pushed this thing, the podcast thing this week because I want to push everyone to go back to a podcast that they've listened to, one that they've heard before, one that they haven't listened to yet but have heard of. Go listen to it. Listen to ours on Anchor. Go to Spotify, find a new one, and just listen to some people talk, because you don't exactly have to gain a whole lot of information to enjoy a podcast or to enjoy someone saying something. So I implore everyone to go take a look at another podcast platform and find another one that you like. Find something else that you can just when you have nothing to do, turn the podcast on and listen to it. It's definitely a lot that or I take a lot from it. I know me and Anna-Marie, we have upwards of 10 podcasts that we listen to kind of religiously. So it is a part of our life. So I would say it's worth something to look into if that's something that you benefit from as well. I think for the most part that's it. I think maybe next week we'll touch base on a little bit more of the make it or break it stuff. We'll scatter it throughout next week's podcast. But yeah, we hope you guys liked everything. Anne-Marie, do you have anything final to say?
I guess going on with like the progress thing, try to update it as much as I can, and I'll even try to update it as comfortably as I feel. Again, it's a journey that I'm still beginning to learn and understand, even though I can personally say I've progressed very well, but do what you're comfortable with. And I know something like fitness or being aware of your health and nutrition always will seem intimidating because it's so personal, just like with care or like any of the other things we talked about, like having to deal with consequences with other people or other conversations that we hear in podcasts that we've even suggested as well. Take it as you're comfortable with, but the only thing you can do is progress and move up. There's no way turning back unless you don't feel like it's right for you at that time, which is totally cool. But as you want, take baby steps, communicate, and just take it day by day, honestly. I will let you know how I do, because
There you go.
I think I'm doing better, but this is just the beginning. It's just the start. So we'll see what happens from there.
All right. Well, as always, I'm R. That's Anne Marie. Thank you guys for listening to R&D Podcast. We will be back next Thursday. Y'all have a wonderful night. All right. As always, I'm PR.
I'm the D.
And I'm Anne Marie.
And thanks for listening to the R&D Podcast.
I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. I'll wake up and get it.